He basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Refuse to go along with this, and I'm seeing through all of your lies, Barack Obama, you wicked, wicked devil!
It doesn't matter how many times I watch that, I laugh every time. Welcome back to another night of Stick with Koolfrogg. And of course, I do have these guys with me. I got America Shirts and I got Jimmy YouTube. How's it going, guys?
Heyo. Excuse me.
Frog
Out
of
in my
there.
throat. Ribbit.
It's good to know that you guys are both here.
My ring-a-ding phone was ring-a-dang muted. Dim-a-dang dim-a-dong.
Whoops.
So, tonight's show is,
Going to piss me off. I mean, it's going to be good.
it's going to be upsetting for a lot of people. And,
We're not.
really, when it comes down to it, and everybody's just going to really, really be disturbed because, they're like, well, how many people are going to talk about this? Well, everybody. Everybody needs to talk about it. Everybody needs to know a little bit about a little bit. And, maybe I got a couple things in here that the other streams didn't have. You just don't know.
Like
There's
me.
plenty. Right. I have America Shirts.
Of
I have
course.
Jimmy YouTube.
Yeah,
Nobody else got that.
yes.
Ain't nobody else got that. That's for sure. So we'll start off on a light note. We'll go here first. Let's do
Is there a light note?
well.
I mean, Canada has fallen to permanent state of martial law, pretty much. Australia's fallen to like pretty much a police state. We're wanting to, go to war. Is there a light note in the middle of all of this? A war and all the rest, is there, What is this light note you speak of?
Okay, this.
Well,
this,
you can still emulate Pokemon.
this is before we actually got into everything that's actually going on. This is about
Oh,
today.
this, yes.
Really, it was yesterday because now it's
Well,
after midnight. Whatever.
technically.
But for what
It goes on for 2 years, though.
right, it's a palindrome and an ambigram because you can read it, front or back. Flip it around, however, and you can flip it upside down, and it still reads the same way. That's
This isn't the Pluto thing. This is just the date.
yeah. This is just today. But it's still fun. When you look at it, you're like, oh, that's interesting. I don't know how many other people are actually going to point this out to you that, Tuesday, the 22nd of February, 2022, like this.
Tuesday.
Not going to look like this ever again.
And
Sink that
today
one
was
in your
also
head.
It's pretty tits.
today is also the day that they call what is it? Pluto's rebirth? Is that what they call it? Like in astrology or whatever?
Oh,
Or
okay.
I'm not sure.
like the
That's
people
pretty
who, like the cycles of the planets or whatever, right? This is supposed to be some cycle of Pluto or whatever. It starts and it goes on for 2 years.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't catch any of
And
that.
this has never happened before. It hasn't happened until am I right in saying this? It's 1776, July 4th is when it started. Pluto started another one of its like quote unquote like cycles in astronomy or astrology, whatever. I have to look at all the particulars. I was looking at it earlier today. But and it started. That was the last time that it happened, and then now it's happening today, or quote unquote yesterday. And if you what do you do with the numbers? Somebody was pointing this out. I saw like something where somebody pointed this out. I thought it was like, ooh, it's a sign, maybe of hope to look to come. But uh, if you times all of how do they do this math? Like they multiplied the numbers together somehow. Like it added up to 1776.
Oh wow.
Like I forget how they did this. Like I have to look at this again. Maybe if I pull, I forget where did my tab go for this? I don't know. Did I close it out already? But anyway, that's somewhere. Maybe I'll look it up as we go. But that's what I thought he was going to pull up. Like, oh, a little hope or something hopeful of some kind or something different. I was like, oh, so it has to do with that. Then he didn't talk about the Pluto thing, but yeah, there's that. And if I can find
Fascinating.
that whole shebang about that whole correct thing, I think I'm correct in saying what I'm saying, but I have to look at it again. But yeah,
Just to be
there's
sure
that.
kind of stuff.
And it's supposed to be something where it's like a death. It's supposed to symbolize death and rebirth. So it's like, ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh no, we have
Oh.
lost our frogman.
Shirts is in command now.
I am in command of this ship. I say we fire.
Then fire we shall.
Fire the potato in the White House. Oh,
Fire the main cannons.
the meme cannons.
Yes, that.
Memes.
Oh, well, pleasant of you to join us.
Yeah, what do you know? Yeah, excuse me.
Promotions and demotions all around.
Oh.
I have no clue what happened there.
I should have been more loyal.
It's like one of those games of like, what do they call that? You cover up the peanut or the pea, and like you got it on the cups, right? They cover up with the cups and they like squish it around. Like where's the peanut or where's the pea or whatever?
Oh,
So
find
one
it.
of our
Where's the
one of
ball?
our faithfuls that is in our Discord that's been following us for a while here, whatever. He did post 2 times 2 times 2 times 222 is 1776.
Oh,
Yeah. Somebody
that's how
did
we go.
Yeah, that's how that number came up or whatever. I really didn't think, I didn't see anything that had anything to do with 1776 all day long. So I didn't, if I would have seen something, I would have been like, oh, okay, let's throw that on top of that or whatever to make it even
Yeah,
more
right.
fun. That was the first I actually heard that it was that actually equaled out.
Wait, who did you say posted it again?
Printer God did.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, one of our faithfuls.
Where did he throw that in?
In the show setup, right underneath this particular picture that I had posted in there.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
He just
And
he
see,
just
that's
showed the quick math.
but that's just like so freaking weird. And this is like some sort of cycle that goes on for 2 years, and it's supposed to symbolize death and rebirth. It's like, oh, and then on top of that, that's the same day that Putin is sending in people to the eastern Ukraine, and then, oh my God, Biden's this, and we're going to cover this kind of stuff. It's like all these kind of pivotal things. It's like, that's weird. Today was kind of a pivotal day.
Yeah.
In many more ways than may meet the eye, perhaps. But
exactly what you're saying there is just you don't know exactly what's going to happen next. And maybe today was that starting point for things to actually, look up.
I mean, the Bible does say that the stars in the heavens are for, the things in the heavens, the luminaries in the heavens are for times and seasons. So, I mean, I don't know. Make of that what you will, but it's interesting nonetheless. I'm not an astrologer. I don't know. I'm not someone who has studied on the history of star cycles and planet cycles and things. I don't know anything like that. But I saw that today and I was like, oh, interesting.
That's right, everyone. Shirts is not an astrologer.
Yes, I am not an astrologer. Do not consult me.
So then another little picture that throw up here, whatever, and you can see the difference between World War One, World War Two, and where World War Three is actually being fought.
Correctamente, my friend, or whoever the hell made this meme, because like, yeah,
Yeah,
ka-ching,
whoever
ka-ching.
made the
Freaking
meme, yeah,
tops.
absolutely. That's exactly what's going on right now, and it's we've been fighting this war for a while, and it's not going to end anytime soon.
It's like a gun in reverse, and then instead of the shells going in, like the money going into the camera, the money's like being printed out of the camera after the recording's done. Like it's reversed. It's like
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can look at that in several different ways, and you could really see.
guns firing forward, guns taking in, and then print, print, print. The stream is coming out rather than that, rather than the belt going in. The belt's being created and coming out of the camera. Cha-ching. Anyway,
Thought that was interesting.
great.
It's a
Far.
great lead. Greetings from Singapore. It's a great lead into what we're actually going to get into today. There's quite a bit, and I know that I didn't share it out with you guys, earlier or whatever. I really had been.
Yeah.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Oh, damn, the Canadians got him.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, those sons
Always
of bitches.
happens.
Those freaking tyrant Canadian coppers up there.
Copa. So, Shirts and I have been watching this show. Right, Shirts?
This show?
Yes, this show.
Sure, yeah.
And it's called The Last Kingdom. Oh, there goes the stream.
Oh, yes, this show.
I think the stream just died, but anyway.
It says we're still live.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just not counting for me anymore. Let me go and check real quick. But anyway, the show is about a young Saxon boy who was kidnapped by Danes and forced to live as one as he grows up. Danes being Vikings, straight up Vikings. It's pretty cool.
It is. It's a very beast show. It was like one of the only good things Netflix has done, I guess.
Much agreement. Oh, hey, we do have stream up here.
Yes, and we have to entertain our guests. Oh, look,
Most
there's ID
certainly.
Crisis. Hello.
Hello.
He says you're still on.
What's
Yes.
up? We just
Thank
got
you.
on. Oh, I see.
Yeah. Mr.
ID
Frog
Crisis.
had an
Have
issue.
you seen this Last Kingdom show? It's so good.
Yes, so we're going to fill in here a little bit until he rides back in here.
Yeah.
Or hops back in here, I should say, because it's not like frogs ride horses or anything. That'd be really freaking weird.
Frogs on motorcycles.
Well, that's a little more acceptable, but on a horse, it's like, okay, this is getting weird here. Like, well, yeah, it's two animals.
Motorcycle
like,
is fine, but
right,
no
right,
way,
exactly.
not on a horse.
Not on a horse. It's just
That's
weird.
where I draw the line. That's too much. Come on, Master Chief. Let's get the fuck out of here.
I mean, I know Cenk Uygur likes to have sex with horses, but I mean, allegedly, but you know, his favorite one being Susan from YouTube. But you know, hey,
he sure defends it like he does.
I know, right?
That's what I would call that. Like, who was the lady that was really, really defending it too?
Oh God, the other girl that was on the show.
Yeah,
Or is she still on there?
Or no.
What's her face?
Not Anna Kasparian. She wasn't on the show, but she was. I think she was on Twitter saying the same shit.
Oh, God, I don't know. Jeez. Oh, ID Crisis says last good thing I saw was Reacher. Oh, I hear that's really good. I haven't yet seen that yet, but I hear that's really good.
He's been wanting us to watch that for like ever here. I told him if you hop in the Discord and we stream it, I'll totally watch it. We've been doing that a lot with like John Wayne movies and shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. Good old,
The
good old John Wayne.
the boys in 2022 watching Big Jake in Discord.
Heck yeah.
It's pretty fantastic.
Well, the schedule today was supposed to go over, just to give you, a little rundown of what we're going to go over.
Overview
Different
of
things, right?
stories.
Like things to do with Russia and I think a little Canadian stuff. And Trump said something on a radio show about the Putin thing that's going on over there. And, of course, Biden made his statements today about Ukraine and Russia. The State Department head, Secretary Blinken, made statements as well. They all pissed me the hell off. Because I think Koolfrogg and several other people have a different opinion than I do about the whole situation that's over there. But we are all in agreement that. Wait, what'd you say?
About Ukraine and Russia?
Yes. God, I still have this freaking frog in my throat. But yeah.
Well, that's where he went.
Yeah, right. That's where he went. He jumped down my throat.
That sounds a little gay, buddy. I'm not gonna lie. I think it's the water, though. They're putting chemicals in it.
Yeah. Yep. That's what it is. Save the frogs, people. But I have a little bit of a different
frog
perspective.
Conversion therapy.
Frog conversion therapy, yes. Do they do it with electricity too? No, I'm just kidding.
They do it with.
Oh my
It's
god!
kind of like what Ozzy does. He just bites their heads off. They actually get Ozzy to do it.
Oh my god! Is that what he does on his spare time for money?
Yep.
Yep.
I convert the frogs by biting their heads off. Yeah.
Oh my god! Whoa!
Oh goodness gracious me!
Hold on to your seats, people. Here comes the shockwave.
Yep. You're gonna get the shockwave in 3, 2.
Windows rattling and the glass is like bending, and it's like okay. Like you look outside, the trees, it's like whoosh, it's like those
trees are getting uprooted and shit.
It's only for like a split second, and then it stops. It's like okay.
Wind picks up a bit.
Yeah. It's like the Tonga volcano, right? Like the shockwaves heard around the world.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like every time Jimmy sneezes.
Without fail. I am the cause of all the wind on the planet.
Yes, you're the cause of all the wind.
Anyway, your different view.
Yes, my different view before I was so rudely and abruptly. No, I'm just kidding.
Loudly, God,
loudly interrupted. Just kidding. But I have a little bit of a different opinion about this, obviously, but as I've stated here many times, and I also have a Rumble video on this very topic that you should go over and definitely check out. I discuss all the shenanigans that have been going on, and I think I probably should do a little bit of an updated video as well as it pertains to all this shite that keeps going on here. But I think we're all in agreement for the most part that whatever you may think of what is going on over there between Russia, Eastern Ukraine, and the Ukrainian government, and the history of it all, and what's been going on for the past 8 years, at the very least the past 8 years. Despite all of that, I think we all are in agreement that the United States should have no involvement.
Yeah, I don't know why we're over. Well, I know why, but we should not be over there in the first place. What are we gonna do
I will
about
say
it?
this.
I don't fucking know. We
Right.
can't do shit but tell you about it, guys.
Yeah. And a good guy to watch, and some of his videos, he's released 2 videos. They've been very graphic, so I would have a graphic warning on these two videos. But most of his videos, I don't think, have this much graphicness to them. It's just the war zone that is being created now in eastern Ukraine by the Ukrainians, by the way. It's not the Russians. It's the Ukrainians bombing and shelling eastern Ukraine. And they've been doing it for the past 8 years. But he has some kind of graphic videos now. There's like 2 of them that are fairly graphic now. But the rest of his videos are pretty chill. His name is Patrick Lancaster. He's been living there for the past 8 years. And he's been
Not
documenting
graphically
everything.
talking.
So you should go check him out as well if you want some information on the ground of some of the things that are going on. And some of the stories from like the people that are there, some interviews with the people that are there, the locals and things. He goes around and talks to people.
He does some tops work. Really,
Oh, yeah,
really
definitely.
concise. He tends to say a bit, but he's a military guy. Like he's not exactly a reporter. He's doing this out of necessity.
Yeah, I'm not sure about his whole background. But yeah, he's definitely has been at the grindstone, as they say. He's been at work. And God, it's freaking brutal. And some of these things that are seen, it's like, whoa. I had to turn some of them off or at least skip through them. I was like, oh, geez.
I was
'Cause
asking, is it really pretty graphic?
these last 2 are pretty, yeah,
Showing casualties and things?
yeah.
My goodness.
Now, there's not very many yet, but I'm going to imagine there's probably going to be a lot more as this continues. But as it pertains to U.S. involvement, I mean, we already have mercenaries over there. We've had mercenaries over there, or like however you want to classify them, like, you know, people who are hired guns or whatever, if you will.
You
They've been over
paid by
there
us.
since 2014. From all the NATO countries, they've been over there in Ukraine. There's NATO weaponry that's over there. There's anti-tank guns. There's anti-aircraft guns. There's all this kind of stuff. There's rockets. There's all kinds of things. We have people over there training the Ukrainian military. All of our, especially the United States, has so much corruption involved with the Ukrainian government after the overthrow of the Ukrainian government in 2014. And basically, everything about Ukraine is a NATO country other than its official status as a NATO country. I mean, it's like everything. And I was even listening to Vladimir Putin's speech that he gave. And everything that I've observed, it's like, yeah, I mean, everything about this country right now is pretty much a NATO country, besides it's actually being officially called a NATO country. And that's literally what Putin said. And that's why he's making some of the efforts that he is now, because, I mean, hello, you all need to back off from our borders. That's his stance. I know other people disagree. They say, you know, Putin is a little bit of a tyrant hack who's like, oh, God, I want to take over the world. But I don't agree with that at all. But,
so you think Putin's pretty chill?
Yes. I don't think he's perfect. You know, I mean, obviously he's not perfect. Their country's not perfect. There's corruption that goes on there and stuff.
So is it true that he's like had political opponents assassinated and things?
See, I believed that at one point, but the more I keep looking into the things that are said about Russia, the more that I find out that, oh, we have been lied to entirely by this, because they've been kind of waiting in the wings to bring this about. And by they, I mean the higher-ups that kind of control things. Think Davos Group, think World Economic Forum people, that kind of, those kind of circles, right? It seems as though, and of course the heads of NATO, obviously, in the UN. It seems as though they've been kind of keeping this in a compartment for a while, if you will, right? They've been keeping this aside for a while, this conflict with Russia, and they've been wanting to have something like this go on, but they're like, yeah, we're going to utilize this for an appropriate time. We're not going to blast off with this just yet, right? And so this has been going on for 8 years since the fall of the Ukrainian government beforehand. And it seems to me as though the powers that be here, or the powers that be that are at play here, seems to me that they've been keeping this saved for a particular time when they thought it would be most opportunistic to start a war.
Hmm.
And they've been upping the ante with, anti-aircraft missiles and other different things like that.
Oh,
And of course,
boy.
some people are like, "Oh, it's not a missile system," and I'm like, "Well, okay, it's a handheld missile system, but what the hell? Like, it's like, oh, it's not like pulled in from a truck and they set it up and they shoot off missiles. It's like, well, but still." And then there's probably those things there too. I mean, God only knows. I mean, I don't know every single piece of hardware that's there, but I mean, I do know they're putting hardware in there. It's obvious they're putting hardware in there. Everybody knows they're putting hardware in there. Everybody likes to debate about the semantics of the hardware, but it's still hardware and it's still pointed towards Russia. And it seems as though they've been waiting to start this up. Because back in 2014, they were even talking about, oh my God, Russia's going to invade Ukraine. And that never happened.
This is eerily similar to
So,
that Cuban Missile Crisis thing.
right. And I think I was going to, I may put this off in a video of my own. Like, this is Putin's Cuban Missile Crisis. Like, this is the way that we would have felt if someone on our borders or close to us was setting up missiles and then going, oh, well, we're just an ally. We can ally with whoever we want. If we want to ally with the Soviet Union, says Cuba, right? And we can stick missiles and other different things here and whatever. And it's fine. It's fine. Well,
Yeah, with impunity as well, I think.
right. And it's like you've already made threats to the United States. And you've already, I mean, it's a they called it the Cold War for a reason, people. I mean, they were just waiting for things to go hot and they never really did fully, like in a full declared war. But, we had the Vietnam War and the Korean War and so forth, which were hot wars, by the way, again, obviously. So, but anyways, yeah, I mean, we already had conflicts with the communists and the Soviet Union was involved in both of those wars to a certain degree. So it's like, oh yeah, we're going to ally with the Soviet Union. We're going to put these missiles down here. And that's okay. That's fine. We're Cuba. We can do whatever we want. Well, it's like Ukraine, right? It's like, here's NATO. NATO's been, drawing up plans to, carve up Russia into like 5 or 6 different countries or something else. I mean, God, I forget. I have to look at these things again, but like they have freaking papers and stuff where they're, yeah, and like, Russia will be this, and there'll be this portion of Russia that'll be this country, and this portion of Russia will be this country, and we'll divide it up and we'll do this and whatever. It's like, wow.
So the way I'm hearing things is that part of Ukraine has basically said, hey, we're independent. And Russia said, that's fine. And they're basically calling themselves New Russia. So that's part of Russia, essentially, anyway. Like, they're sympathizers. But then this part of Ukraine that wants to still be Ukraine, what's going to happen to them? I think I posed this question to you earlier off stream, but I don't remember what you said.
Well, my thought about what would happen with that is hold on 1 second. Let me check to see if we're still okay. We're still live. Okay, just want to make sure that.
Yeah, I got the YouTube stream pulled up.
Yeah. What would happen? My thought about it is Russia, to me, Putin does not want this war. Putin just simply wants to recognize these people who are on his border, who are ethnically Russian, and who have been, and they speak Russian, they're ethnically Russian. I mean, the whole freaking all of Ukraine is basically Russian. It's just like a different dialect of Slavic.
So is he trying to do?
But
is he trying to do what China should have done with Taiwan, and just recognize them?
No, because the goal of recognizing these two republics as being independent, the goal of those two republics being recognized by Russia as being independent, is to eventually make their way into joining with Russia themselves. So that's the goal with them. Of course, with Taiwan, the goal is to stay as far away from China as possible. Like, no. China wants to take over and overrun Taiwan.
Yeah,
whereas
I know what
they
want
to join up. So it's kind of like the opposite then, right?
Yeah, okay.
A similar situation, geographically, I guess. But like, it's like the opposite effect. The opposite wanting. The opposite results that are wanted. That's what I want to say. But I think if there was a war to break out, I don't think Putin would be afraid to invade fully. Like if a war did break out, I mean, that's what those military drills were for. That's why those troops were there on the border.
Yeah, they're ready if shit pops off.
I mean, that's why they
I
did the
would
military
be
drills. It's
plainly
like, hey,
guessing.
I mean, if NATO wants to start firing rockets, and if they want to start going after people, yeah, then we won't be afraid to go in. Now, they have sent troops into the Donbass region, is what it's called, the Donbass region, which is made up of now Russia recognizes as two separate sovereign nation states, separate sovereign republics now.
Oh,
And he's bringing some troops in there to help support them and to help evacuate them from the area, because as you will see, and I hope you skim past it and don't really look at too much of what he posts, Patrick Lancaster, there's even freaking an incident of a roadside bomb that blew up a vehicle with someone inside. I mean, this is freaking like terrorist activity. Like, I mean, by the Ukrainians, by the Ukraine government, by the soldiers, excuse me, in the Ukrainian government. So, if that kind of crap continues, then they're going to stay there. I don't think Putin wants to advance. But if they really push it, which I think they want to. I mean, let's just be honest. Like, Ukraine, I don't think is controlled by the Ukrainian government. I think they're controlled by globalist hackies in the United States and the other places. And my opinion is that if they push it really hard, I don't think Putin would be afraid to go clear to Kiev. If they push it. If they just simply, if Putin makes them flinch and he says, hey, I got troops here, don't come any further. These are our friends. These are Russian people. Stop bombing them. Stop killing them. Stop shelling them.
you don't think he'd be remiss in just taking a bunch of land, essentially?
Oh, say that again. Sorry.
I said you don't think he'd be remiss in taking a bunch of land, essentially.
No.
And just saying, all right, these are all under our protection now. These are us.
Right. Well, not us. It wouldn't be that they would be Russian owned. Like, it's not like it's Russian owned. They're independent nations, and they're like allies, basically.
Okay, so he'd
for the time being. Now those people want to join Russia, but Putin hasn't said yes to that. And see, that's the thing within the media, right? It's like, oh, well, Putin's sending troops over there to help them, so he's just basically taking them over. It's like, no. He's sending aid to them because they're small and they're full of Russians. And so he's trying to aid those people. And he now has officially recognized them. He recognized them because they sent delegations to Moscow because Ukraine started shelling them again. And it was worse than before. And they sent delegations to Moscow to be like, hey, can we be recognized as sovereign states? And then can we ask for your help in our own self-preservation here? And he said yes. And so he recognized them, and he's sending aid to come in and then help, and send other troops to come in and help evacuate people. Of course, I think some people are staying despite, and that's really sad. But God, I mean, but it's their home. But I mean, still, it's a freaking war zone.
It's a tough deal. Well, like, what do? You leave your home, or do you stay there and fight to protect and preserve it?
Yeah. But it was government ordered there by those two republics that all the women, children, and elderly leave, and anybody between the ages of 18 and 55 was to stay and fight. That's what their governments ordered. All the males that were between 18, all the men that were between 18 and 55 were to stay and fight, and all the women and children and elderly were to go and flee to Russia. And this was before Russia recognized them officially. But they were already fleeing to Russia, and Russia was already making amends for them to come in, making a place for them to come in, and like at least to be received by Russia into the country as I don't know, evacuees. What do you call? What do you call somebody that's running away? Shoot, I just forgot the word. Starts with an A. It's what they want to do in Canada now because of this stuff. They want to come in and asylum. That's what the word is.
Oh, seek asylum. Okay.
Yes, asylum seekers. They're like, from war, right? And so Russia's making amends for that and making room and bringing them in as asylum seekers because of the war that's now breaking out there. And I explain all of this stuff in more detail on my Rumble. It's just a video up there. It's called Ukraine Russia, or Russia Ukraine. What's really going on? So you should definitely go and check that out and give that a listen to. Of course, after this programming is done. But yeah, I don't know when our Koolfrogg man will come back. But these are basically the stuff that he was going to go over. And because he is the head of this show and I'm not, and since he's gone, I cannot share my screen and go through the articles because he has to put them up because he's in charge of this stream. I don't know if his internet is down, if the power went out in his area. I don't know what the heck happened. But whenever he comes back, he'll pull up these articles and talk about some of this stuff.
The
Oh, wait, heck,
Canadians
I can just
clearly
kind of...
got 'em.
Yeah, I can just kind of read it off. What the heck? Why don't I do that? Just kind of read through some of the stuff, kind of skim through it. See what we can pull out of it.
Well, I don't know if he wants us to do that until he gets back. Maybe, I don't know.
Well,
Show must go on, I suppose.
I guess.
Tell you what.
Oh, there's our frog friend.
Hi, welcome back.
Not like losing a half hour's worth of time over a freaking internet outage.
Oh, see, that's what I said. It was internet outage.
I'm like,
Well, we didn't lose a
seriously,
half hour. We were still here. We're still talking.
Well,
We're still live.
I'll have to go back and listen to what you guys actually had to say.
We just started talking about the topic and a little bit about that show we've been watching.
So,
Yeah, a little bit of
okay.
Russia-Ukraine type stuff.
Sure.
I may or may not have done a little bit of
Still
shilling for
having
myself.
some issues. No, that's fine. That's awesome. I mean, you guys could have went away, but the stream would have still been here until I got back.
Well, as Jimmy said, the
rough
show
one.
must go on.
And
Wait, how the hell is Jimmy in second place now? What is this?
I've been promoted for my good deeds. Oh, damn it all.
what good deeds? Okay,
Blast
so
all of
let's
you.
try this again. Now that we're back and actually hopefully up for a while now, and seriously, that is so disturbing.
Yeah, we were basically just talking about the Russia-Ukraine thing. I was giving my opinion on it.
Oh,
The things
and
that I
it
had
looked like
looked at
we
and done.
actually had somebody talking. Some ID
Yes, ID
crisis
Crisis
actually
is
jumped
here.
in.
I think, I don't know,
Okay.
is ID Crisis
Hopefully,
still here or not?
if he's still here, hopefully he's still here, so you can actually hear what we're actually going to go through here. So, what we originally started with was should I get the right one?
Grim might still be here. I don't know.
Was this one? So, World War I, World War II, World War III, and as Scherz pointed out, the propaganda machine of World War III or whatever, it works just opposite of what.
ID Crisis send a chat. He
Yes.
says for a few more minutes he'll be here.
Nice.
Okay,
There you go. For a few more minutes. Nice.
cool.
Glad you
Hope
could
you
join
enjoyed
us.
the show.
Yeah. So anyway, to move on with the show, what we were going to go through here is a couple things that happened today. Just so happen to be fairly interesting. And when I say the couple things that happened today, there's a lot that happened today.
Oh, by the way, for ID Crisis here, I
course.
keep saying my Rumble channel. I forgot to mention what my Rumble channel is. Sorry to interrupt, but it's America Shirts, just like you see it on the screen here. Capital A, capital S. It's a channel on Rumble. You should go check that out over there where I talk about the Russia thing. Russia,
Your
Ukraine
channel
thing.
is so unique, you don't need to capitalize it. I've looked it up on there.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So just
Okay,
yeah. So
so
just search America Shirts in under channels, I guess, and or just the name, I guess. I don't know. What did you type? Did you look under channels, or what did you type, Jimmy?
I just went under channels and typed America Shirts. Boom, boom.
Oh,
Found
well,
it.
there you go. There you go. America Shirts on Rumble. Just search it. Cool. Thanks, Jimmy. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely dope. Great stuff on there.
he does have a
two
couple
videos,
followers
and they're
over there.
just overly based. Please check them out.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a
this is
few more
American shirts
new
for crying out
shirts
loud.
that are coming out.
Yeah,
Can't
he's
get
got a
any more
website,
based
too.
than shirts.
Yes, AmericaShirtsAreFirst.com. I think he probably knows that, but hey, I'll shill it anyway. I think he knows that, but I'll shill it anyway. So,
Well, maybe he hasn't checked it out quite yet. Give him a click, man. Give him a click. Look, clicky.
So I mean,
Yeah.
we are 40 minutes into it. You can give them a promo code so that way when you
Oh
guys,
yeah,
like,
we
give
are,
us
aren't we? We
something
are
to
at 40
actually
minutes.
use.
Promo code or discount code, whatever you want to call it. Koolfrogg to save 15% on any shirt in the store. And I'm kind of like, I got a couple of things in the store that I'm having to. Some of the prices changed because of I guess supply chain issues and things like that. So I'm having to change a couple of the numbers and things on the website. So bear with me here for like a couple of hours, I guess. I know I'm on the stream now. I can't go back and continue to fix, but keep it up there and keep looking around and see what you like, and there you go. So anyway, that's the issues with that.
That's that. That's
Right. But yeah, keep it up, and
That's
eventually, whenever those numbers stable out there on the website, and I think they might be
I
stable
mean,
now, but I'll
we
have to
can
look
we
again.
can do a few
But
things though
there
to
you
go
go.
along with helping America Shirts. If you go to buymeacoffee.com/coolfrog and you actually help me, eventually I will buy shirts from America Shirts. I'll turn on a camera and I'll wear the shirt on camera so you can see what they actually look like. There's a lot of things that have to happen before I can actually do that. So, if you want to help me, help him, I mean,
All
it's
the money comes back to. No, I'm just kidding. It doesn't.
all the money go right back to shirts. I mean,
All goes right back to Bill Gates.
well,
First, we've got populations.
okay, so start this off.
I wear a pink sweater.
Russia and Ukraine relations refers to the relations
harmless.
between Russian Federation and Ukraine. Currently, the two countries are in a state of war. The
Oh, is that what they're saying?
Russo-Ukrainian War began in 2014 following the Russian annexation of Crimea from Ukraine.
I also have a different perspective on the Crimea thing as well, but
Obviously,
we shall continue.
obviously, this is Wikipedia,
Right.
so yeah, you got to take that grain of salt with it and everything that comes through. Because
I'm just saying. I don't really. I'm just saying. I'm not saying what you're saying. I'm just. I'm saying. Because you're saying. Because I'm saying. No, I'm just kidding.
Who's on first?
What's on second?
I don't know. Third base.
Russian annexation of Crimea from Ukraine. What do you guys think about the Russian annexation of Crimea from Ukraine?
It's a little weird that Russia's annexing things from Ukraine, I'll be honest. Like, who annexes things anyway? It's just stupid.
Well, Crimea had a similar situation to that of the Donbass that I was talking about earlier. But for them, I don't think they were being attacked. I have to look it up again. I don't think they were being bombarded and shelled as much as the other people over there. But there were definitely things against Russian-speaking peoples, just culturally on the ground. They
Crimea is
voted.
that little peninsula that hangs off of the bottom side of Ukraine that sits into the Black Sea.
Oh, okay.
Right. That's what Crimea is. It's just that little tiny little piece of peninsula or whatever.
It dips right into the center of the Black Sea. Right?
Dips right into the center of the Black Sea there. So that being Crimea, and then these other two areas that I misname them all the time. These two areas that he's currently saying he's going to try to annex, and make his own property somehow, some way, or whatever. Um, the Dunst and something else. Anyway, these two little areas that he's actually trying to actually take over. It's really strange on what they're doing. And I mean, is he going to actually take these two areas? Is he going to just annex them like he's doing with Crimea? Because technically, Crimea is not under the Russian control. It's still mainly Ukraine. It's just that the Russians have rights to dock at their ports and use certain. It's confusing. Why would somebody need to have control over all of this area? So I did pull up a Ukraine map or whatever so you can see the little peninsula, but you can see that little itty bitty little peninsula that's hanging down into the sea there or whatever. That's exactly what that is. And that's
there's Cash. Cash says greetings. Greetings, Mr. Cash.
Greetings. What's up,
Greetings
Cash?
and hallucinations. How are you?
Yes.
In hallucinations. Holy man. Relations of the two countries have been hostile since the Revolution of Dignity, which toppled Ukraine's elected president Viktor Yanukovych and his supporters. Because he refused to sign a political association and free trade agreement with the European Union that enjoyed majority support to the Ukrainian parliament, Ukraine's post-revolutionary government wished to commit to the country to the future of the EU and NATO rather than with delicate diplomatic games of balancing those of Russia.
Yeah, essentially what I was talking about earlier. There was a color revolution that was started by, George Soros and the globalist type people in the State Department, and they overthrew the government way back when. And now it's a pro NATO government rather than a
Am I still
formerly
here?
looking towards
Yep.
Russia. Yeah, you're
Okay.
still here.
It just came up and it gave me another thing saying that I was potentially being knocked again.
Oh boy.
That was just Cash saying, "Hey, right?" And this is just super upsetting. So these two areas right here, the Donetsk People's Republic and the
Yeah, his internet went out, Cash, by the way.
Luhansk People's Republic, and more in the Ukraine's economically important Donbass region in its eastern border of Russia, or with Russia. This region and the Russian ethnic majority. By early 2022, the Russo-Ukrainian War had killed more than 13,000 people and brought some Western sanctions on Russia. So, I mean, who's ever actually filling the Wikipedia out is actually doing, a decent job. They're actually giving, some numbers. I would almost believe that 13,000 is a little bit larger than that, being that they've actually they've been in Ukraine for as long as they have. I mean, 2014, there were sanctions against there's something that Obama did to the Ukraine to remove nuclear weapons. See if I can't find where that was. So we're going to bring this all the way back to the Obama administration and blaming
Oh, there's
things.
the Kievan Rus. Muscovy, the Russian Empire.
Right.
There's all that stuff. I know, because Ukraine,
Cash, I'll make you a mod eventually. Give me a chance to do that. And that way, when you do that, you can.
Oh, cool.
You can kick the Russian bots out when they come in. You should want to. Discussion about the extent of what Russians and Ukrainians share at a common origin can lead to heated arguments. I mean, so they've been arguing. They've been arguing over territories and lands for as long as you can actually remember. I believe.
Well, no,
I didn't do all this reading. This is
modern day.
Right. There's
Let's
a lot
geared
of
towards
reading.
modern day interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
If you went way back
1922.
when, Kiev and
Look
Rus
at
was
this.
all Russia.
100 years ago, 1922, Ukraine and Russia were two of the founding members of the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Oh, they were the part of the USSR. Oh, go figure. I mean, a lot of us already kind of knew this, that they were actually part of the USSR. And, Russia attacking Ukraine is like them attacking themselves. And why we have to actually always get involved in everybody else's civil wars and other things is ridiculous. Um,
Well, yes, despite as I said earlier, despite what your perspectives are as it pertains to Russia or even Putin himself and his own, what you think his intentions are and all of the goings on that's over there, we all can agree that the United States should not be in any way involved. There is no reason for us to be involved. So, and what was interesting as well, speaking to this particular thing too here, and I was talking to these two in the Discord about this, I believe yesterday, was in that speech that Putin gave. He talked about how he says he's never said this before, and you can interpret this however you want, but this is just him saying this. He said that he's never said this before in public, but he had a private conversation with Bill Clinton about why is it that NATO has this perspective constantly, even after the Soviet Union fell. He said this was in 2000. He said even after the fall of the Soviet Union, it seems like NATO wants to see Russia as an enemy still. And he says, why is this? And basically, Bill Clinton told him that, well, I'll just keep this kind of summarized. It's above my pay grade. It's kind of what he was saying. It's like, oh, well, who's above the president of the United States? He said it wasn't even political. Didn't have anything to do with politics. That's what Putin says about that. And so, as far as United States involvement is concerned, even Putin is saying that he's had a talk with Bill Clinton before in 2000, and they've had this perspective ever since then. NATO continues to. And he says, this is Putin's perspective, that it's beyond politics, is what Bill Clinton told him, is what he said. That it's kind of above his pay grade. So, U.S. involvement in these things, yeah, none of us want this, but other interests.
To go along with everything that's being said right now. So the U.S. supported Ukraine's bid to join NATO, launched in January 2008, is in an effort to obtain the NATO membership action plan. Russia strongly opposed any prospect of Ukraine and Georgia becoming NATO members. According to
why would Georgia become NATO? Like, what the hell?
I don't. He's invaded Georgia for quite some time. He's been doing some things, whatever, moving troops through the areas. According to the alleged transcripts of Putin's speech in 2008, NATO-Russia Council Summit in Bucharest, Putin spoke on Russians' responsibility for ethnic Russians resident in Ukraine and urged NATO partners to act advisedly. According to some media reports, he then also privately hinted to his U.S. counterpart at the possibility of Ukraine losing the integrity in the event to its NATO accession. According to the document of the United States Diplomatic Cables League, Putin implicitly challenged the territorial integrity of Ukraine, suggesting that Ukraine was an artificial creation sewn together from territory of Poland, the Czech Republic, Romania, and especially Russia in the aftermath of the Second World War. Cash is excited because I made him.
Okay. Well, what Putin says there is true. Ukraine was carved out of all of those countries.
Mm-hmm.
Ukraine was originally, most of Ukraine, in that eastern portion of Ukraine, was Russia. And then as you went farther westward, parts of it was Poland, parts of it was Czech Republic, parts of it was Romania, parts of it was, wait, do I have that right? Yeah, Poland, Czech Republic, Romania, and then, of course, the eastern portion, Russia. And it was carved out of that, right. And it was during World War II, and how Stalin, was coming in, and, Hitler, that guy, whoever that guy is,
Yeah.
whoever that guy is. Oops. That guy. A historical reference, of course. Uh, you know, during that time, that's what they did. And then Stalin carved out that portion and said that that was going to be an independent republic within the Soviet Union. And that was the beginnings of the what they call in the Cold War like the Iron Curtain, right? Being taken over into eastern portions of Europe itself, into Poland and into these other areas, because old old H there, I guess I don't know what the hell you call his name. I don't want to say it again, but uh, him over there in Germany in World War II, and then Stalin, they both came over into Eastern Ukraine, or Eastern Ukraine, sorry, Eastern Europe, and they ended up at Poland, and they split Poland in half basically, and from there down was the beginnings of this Iron Curtain, and then of course Germany doubled on Stalin, and then Stalin went through and pushed into Eastern Germany, but that's afterwards. But during and around this time ish is what this thing is saying, right? It's like, or Putin is saying, it's like, hey, he basically took out some of these places, and he carved out the Ukraine as being a Soviet republic. And that's where Ukraine, being a sort of own sort of nation state ish kind of thing, came from, having their own sort of idea of them having their own border as Ukrainians. Like that was where that came from. Every other time in history, that was always Russia. And of course, split up into other nations as well, in some of those more westerly portions there. So, anyways, but that's historically accurate. That's what happened. Is they went in and they divided the land, Germany and Soviet Union, and then afterwards, Soviet Union went and pushed
I mean,
against Germany.
we
But
can go back in
you know,
history and we can look at other groups actually were in this territory before it even became the Ukraine. So I mean, there's a lot of historical background to this territory that they're going after here. There's always been somebody that's been fighting over lands near and around the Mediterranean Sea. It's ridiculous how many people have fought over territories and to say it's theirs. They're like, no, it's mine. No, it's yours. No, it's mine. Okay, well, okay. They told us to give it back. Okay, we'll give it back for a little bit. But now I still need to get to the Black Sea. I still need territory to get to where I need to be. So we'll play nice. You play nice with me, and I use your territory. You don't be nice with me. I shoot you, and I use your territory. And that's basically what it's coming down to. Is Putin's giving them
Grimsbar again says, "Greetings from Singapore."
Greetings from Singapore. Like he's in or something.
Well,
Maybe he is.
Ooh.
We're all going to Grimm's house. And like, screw the United States. Let's go to Singapore.
Oh God, I don't want to go there.
I mean, and this is what it's always over. Gas, oil. Is always over some kind of strategic resource and getting it transported without having to pay somebody else's fees to get it through their territory. And once he actually picks up these couple pieces of land that he's actually looking at and ties it into Crimea and keeping that as well, he's gonna have access the way he wants it. And Joe Biden, trying to protect his pocket, is going to do whatever he can to try stopping him. When I say,
and the other thing I was just thinking about,
we all know that Joe Biden has something to do with the Ukraine already.
Yeah. One of the things that I was thinking about today too is that Hunter Biden himself admitted that Russian spies went in and took his other laptops in other places that he was, crashed out at because he was stoned or, too much crack. So, if Putin has some dirt on Biden, and if Biden keeps going, maybe Putin will just be like, "Oh, hey, here's this laptop here that we kind of, didn't really have to do too much digging for because he was like passed out on the floor, and we just walked in and took it, and he left it unlocked and everything. But what the hell, right? Like, like, hey, here's this laptop here. Oh, look at all these amazing pictures. Oh, wow, isn't this interesting, Mr. Joe Biden?
Apparently, it's
You and
not
your
the first time
son.
he's done it either.
Oh, who's done what?
That Hunter Biden has like fucked some hooker somewhere and then just left a laptop or some sensitive thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I'm thinking, right? It's like, hey, if Putin has that, maybe Putin will just, hey, maybe we'll release this now. Maybe you don't want to do what you're doing, Biden. You want to make yourself look good. Maybe you kind of, not have war. Maybe Biden.
Nah. This is funner. We like taking your civil liberties.
Oh God, freaking Cash. He says, wow, you were in Singapore? I'm here too. We should grab some chilled monkey brain. Oh God. This is one of the reasons why you should stay as far away from some of these places as possible. I mean, we love you people if you're listening, but oh God, I don't want to eat that kind of stuff. No, thank you.
Sounds like something you get off a Chinese wet market. Oh, there goes our lovely
Ah!
flag.
No.
Well,
looks like the chemicals are doing more than just turning the frogs gay. They're turning their internet off too, I guess. I don't know.
they're just turning the frogs off completely now.
Yeah, they're just turning the frogs off completely.
It's like, not only are they not gay, now they're just not sexual.
Right, that's the point. Is that little depopulation never hurt anybody, now did it? Huh?
Oh, I see what you're getting at there, Billy boy.
I'm wearing a pink sweater. You can't judge me.
Oh, I never would. Never would. It's a bad idea, Billy boy. Woo!
My mother actually called me William, but I'm just freaking kidding. I don't know what the hell Bill Gates' mother called him.
Hellspawn.
Seriously, don't get it why this is actually doing this. Looks like ID crisis is possible that if Ukraine is destined for NATO inclusion, Russia will take the border territories, call them free states, and now has some space between Russia and NATO country. It's possible. It's possible that's that he will try making those free states or whatever. I really hope that's not the case, that he's not actually able to actually come around and do so, and somebody actually stops him from doing so.
It would make sense to go ahead and hey, rather than taking over the area, why don't we just create another border, another buffer area at the very least, to keep NATO away from Russia.
Borders
all the
don't
more.
Work. Oh,
that would make a lot of sense. But
just state borders don't work. Never mind.
But again, they sent delegations up there to do that, so it's not like Putin is just setting this all up just to make it look like that so he can set up a border state. I mean, this would work out to have a border state, to have border states there. So maybe that's what's going through his mind now presently, and thinking like, hey, I'm not going to annex these places or anything like that, even though they want me to. I would rather them just stay their independent republic, stay there. I bring my little troopy people in there, my little soldiers in. We keep our place there. We keep our soldiers there for a little bit, till the fighting goes down. And then we go back and we have now a new buffer zone between NATO and Russia. That makes sense. That's a very good thought there, Mr. ID Crisis. That's a pretty good thought there. So yeah, good of you to throw that out. That's a good thought. Maybe that's what his thinking is.
So then,
for the time being.
Yeah. What's up?
So, Frogman, your internet keeps on going out, but your stream is still out.
Yeah, it's because it's up and it's on the it's basically it's on the internet, and every time that my internet goes out, it just shuts down my connection. So you guys would get this if it came to the point where it actually shut off my internet, where I was unable to get back in here. This stream would be up until I was able to get back in here to shut it off.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I
I
mean,
wonder if there's a time limit.
I'm just kind of wondering the same thing. Hopefully, there is be some kind of time limit on that.
Yeah.
Keeps them.
Just 3 months later, haven't paid your internet
Right.
bill, but it's still up.
We're still going 3 months strong. It's got like 300,000 hours or whatever.
So then, Volodymyr Zelensky's presidency on the 11th of July 2019. Recently elected Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky held a telephone conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin following the former appeals to the Russian leader to take part in the talks with Ukraine, the United States, Germany, France, the UK, in Minsk. The leaders also discussed the exchange of prisoners held by both sides. On September 7th, Ukraine and Russia exchanged prisoners. Russia's state-owned energy company Gazprom in Ukraine agreed to a 5-year deal on Russian gas transit to Europe to end in 2019.
Okay, here we have some chats. Cash says, Putin better not cross state lines. State lines! State lines! Oh my God!
ID Crisis is
When he
thanks for the
crossed
props.
state lines
Just got home
with
from
the
work early
rifle.
morning tomorrow. Good stream. Keep up the good work. Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you.
Yeah, he says
Thank
just
you
got home
for
from
actually
work early
coming
morning.
and joining us. We enjoy it when we actually have people in our chat. It's not too often that that's been happening. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
good
come
to
back for
see.
some
It's
more,
really
you know.
good to see.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, that was good thinking on your part. Yeah, creating some buffer zones for at least for the time being, anyway, right?
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
pretty good thought. Perhaps that's what's going through his mind. So anyway, yep. I guess if he's going later, but anyway, let's let us continue.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't going to do too much out of just the Wikipedia or whatever. There's a lot of information in Wikipedia, and obviously, you know, it's Wikipedia, so you kind of have to think about it for a few minutes and maybe do some more research on other things before you actually conclusion on anything that's coming from Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Not that it's not a good thing to actually have, because it's usually full of some really good, interesting information. Like I said, back your information up before you actually make a decision on anything that you get from this Wikipedia page. So let's stop that for the moment.
Yeah, we have several.
I got quite a
things
few
in there.
things to go through here. Let's do.
We're
do
already an
this
hour
one.
in, by the way, as well. So
Yeah,
keep that in mind.
right, exactly.
My goodness.
30 minutes of it's me freaking around with my internet. This one. We're going to say thank you to the News Junkie Cartoons. You guys do a wonderful job. Thank you so much for allowing us to use your footage. This is Biden.
It has been the most shameful thing that any president has done in modern history, excuse me, in terms of foreign policy. And the fact of the matter is, I've never seen a time, and I've spent thousands of hours in the Situation Room. I've spent many hours on the ground in those very places in Syria and in Iraq. And guess what? Our commanders across the board, former and
look, you can
present,
still see the lines in
are
his head where
ashamed
they
of what's
cut his
happening
skull
here.
open.
What I would do is I would be making it real clear to Assad that, in fact, he's going to have a problem because Turkey is the real problem here. And I would be having a real lockdown conversation with Erdogan and letting him know that he's going to pay a heavy price for what he has done. Now, pay that price.
Just to clarify, Mr. Vice President, would you want American troops back in northern
I
Syria?
would want those 1,000 troops to be protected by air cover. those 1,000 troops that are having to withdraw under fire, make it clear that they're not going anywhere, and have them protected. These American service members who gave their lives, it's an overused word, but it's totally appropriate here, were heroes. Heroes who've been engaged in a dangerous, selfless mission. They lost their lives. This is shameful, shameful what this man has done. What is happening in Iraq is going to, in Afghanistan, as well as all the way over to Syria. I know what the job is. I've been engaged. Look, one of the reasons I am running is because of my age and my experience.
The only thing you know how to be
with it
engaged
comes
in is sniffing
wisdom.
people.
We need someone to take office. This
He said it comes with wisdom. Age comes with wisdom. Yet also comes with, a bunch of other things, that kind of work against wisdom.
this time around, who on day one
As
can
he's just
stand on the
ex-
world
as he's just
stage,
exemplified
command the
there.
respect of world leaders from Putin to our allies, and know exactly what has to be done to get this country back on track. It is required now more than any time in any of our lifetimes to have someone who has that capacity on day one. I've been waiting for a response from Putin for my letter, my response to him. It's come to that Moscow embassy. They're faxing it here. Not faxing it, they're sending it here. I have not read it yet. I cannot comment on it.
Have you been shown it in any way?
Oh, yes. Yes. My sense this will happen within the next several days.
Считаю необходимым принять уже давно назревшее решение. Незамедлительно признать независимость и суверенитет Донецкой Народной Республики и Луганской Народной Республики. Прошу Федеральное собрание Российской Федерации поддержать это решение, а затем и ратифицировать договоры о дружбе и взаимопомощи.
Okay. He's actually speaking Russian, and he says an awful lot. Consider it necessary to take a long overdue decision
Now, this is the speech I was talking about earlier that he was
to
giving.
immediately recognize the independence of the Luhansk People's Republic Federation and to support this decision and then ratify with both republics. Oh, there was a second republic that was in
Donetsk.
my 5-second
Donetsk
skip is
and
too
Luhansk.
much for it. These
That's
two
the
documents
Donbass region.
be prepared inside. I believe I do have his speech up by itself as well, so we can kind of comb through it a little easier, maybe. The power of Kyiv to immediately stop combat. Otherwise, the responsibility for continuing the bloodshed will lay on the shoulders of the Ukrainian regime. So I'm going to back that up and we're going to listen to him again.
Это решение, а затем и ратифицировать договоры о дружбе и взаимопомощи с обеими республиками. Два эти документа будут подготовлены и подписаны в самое ближайшее время. А от тех, кто захватил и удерживает власть в Киеве, мы требуем незамедлительно прекратить боевые действия. В противном случае вся ответственность за возможное продолжение кровопролития будет целиком и полностью на совести правящего на территории Украины режима.
Because Putin knows if I am president of the United States, his days of tyranny and trying to intimidate the United States and those in Eastern Europe are over. I'm going to stand up to him. He's a bully, just like the president. And I know he doesn't want me to be president, but to tell you what, when I'm president, things are going to change. Mr. Putin, the American people decide their elections, not you. Chip in $1, $5.
Once again, asking
sakes.
for your generous donations.
It's the Russians.
Oh.
Wait, but I thought you weren't allowed to talk about election fortifications.
Go figure. From this vantage point, you can't see the closed captions. You guys our avatars are blocking.
Yeah, that's why I thought you were going back and reading over those because you've been seeing.
Well, yeah. I mean, for those Russian-speaking people out there, sorry. You
Yes, all of those Russian-speaking people. They all
maybe I'll
listen to
flex
our
on these
show.
other layouts for everything else.
They drink their vodka and they have fun watching Koolfrogg, the weird gay frog man.
Gay frog.
What the hell?
You missed some shit while you were gone.
Damn you guys! Now I'm gonna have to definitely. We'll watch it together so that way I can scold you as it happens.
Negatory.
Negatory.
Yes,
I have to go to bed.
if
Sorry.
you demand that, I will all of a sudden probably have something that needs to be attended to at that
Oh
point.
no, internet issues.
Ah!
Who in the Lord's name does Putin think gives him the right to
Oh
declare
gosh, you know the Catholics
new
wanted to
so-called
actually get rid of this guy
countries
as a Catholic.
on territory that belonged to his neighbors? This is a flagrant violation of international law and demands a firm response from the international community. Over the last few months, we've coordinated closely with our NATO allies and partners in Europe
Mainly because he believes
and
in
around
abortion.
the world to prepare that response. We've said all along, and I've told Putin to his face more than a month ago.
Bought in the bug ago.
Against Ukraine, Russia has now undeniably moved against Ukraine by declaring these independent states. So today, I'm announcing the first tranche of sanctions to impose costs on Russia in response to their actions yesterday.
I mean, that whole thing just pisses me the hell off. He's like, who in the Lord's name does Putin think he is? Like he's some damn Texan or something. Like,
Is he in
okay,
Texas right there? That would explain it.
no, he's not. But he may think that he is for the moment, and then all of a sudden he'll be walking around and wake up and be like, wait, where the hell am I? Oh, the White House? Am I the president? Like what?
Biden is going to demand Putin a right of reply.
Yes.
Oh, gosh,
Yes,
he would
literally.
too.
That's awesome.
This
That's
first
awesome.
section of this freaking speech.
But yeah,
pisses
this
me off.
speech.
Because it's like, he says, who does he think that he is that he can, declare like sovereign nations or like recognize sovereign nations? Well, isn't he a sovereign nation? Can't he declare who he wants to recognize and do trade with and have relations with or not? Oh, wait, no, he can't because, NATO and the UN declare who's a real nation and who's not. That's what he's really saying.
That's what I was going to say. So I paused it here where it says new so-called countries. I mean,
how many times have we carved things out of the goddamn desert in the middle of nowhere and then claimed it's a country and everyone else in the world's like, what the hell is wrong with you? I mean, but yet, Putin sits there and says, these are Russian-speaking people. They want their own independent country. They're being bombarded by Ukraine. Oh, well, you know what? I'm going to recognize them myself as independent nations. I'm not demanding the whole world recognize them. I am recognizing them. He never said the entire freaking planet better do it or else I'm going to nuke you all. He said, I'm recognizing it. Now, if it ends up being that they stay independent, well, then they may have relations somehow, some way, right? As we were talking about earlier. Whether eventually they go into Russia or whether they just stay as ID Crisis was talking about earlier. Maybe it's just buffer states for a while. I don't know. But, however that ends up being, I mean, Putin is his own sovereign country. He has the right to do that. Oh, wait, no. Biden says he doesn't because NATO and the UN get to determine who's a nation and who's not. Putin has no role in, recognizing people groups and nations.
Who makes up
other
these
things.
rules for Putin? So that Putin can do what he wants or when
who makes up the rules for Biden? What the hell?
Exactly. Who makes up these rules? Is it actually a flagrant violation of international law?
And of course, the UN is involved in a lot of that, international law.
I mean, UN has to be something like, how many, 30 some odd countries that are all involved?
There's
a lot.
The hundreds, if not 200.
There's I could be totally, I mean, just in Europe alone, all the countries that are actually part of NATO that are not part of anything else. And you look at everything that they're going through right now. You look at every single country that's having the same style and type of issue that the United States is having, and you look at these other countries and you look at the issues that they're having that are really close and similar to what we're going through right now, because obviously a war is a war, and when it's NATO versus somebody else, it's going to end up getting really bad. And this guy saying that somebody else's violations of international law, this guy's a violation of international law. He needs to be gone.
But the idea that, it's like Putin can't recognize any sovereign, he can't recognize other sovereign countries or other people outside of what the UN and NATO and these other people tell him that he can. It's like, what? I mean, this doesn't make any sense. He is his own country. If he wants to recognize it, he can recognize it.
NATO is trying to push the New World Order bullshit, is what I'm thinking.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
But at any rate, again, he's not saying that, he's not even saying that these nations will be permanent structures. He's just recognizing them. That's all that he's doing. He just says, I recognize them as independent nations. I'd like to go in and help. And all that he's doing is just sitting here and being like, well, who the hell he think he is? Like, well, he's the leader of Russia. If Russia wants to recognize it, Russia wants to recognize it. If you don't, then you don't. So what? If your map looks different than Russia's map about, how many people groups there are or how many, other nation states that there might be, well, so what? Who the hell cares? Nobody's, but see, that's the thing. It's like, he literally just said, because he recognizes them as a sovereign nation, that's basically like a declaration of war. No, it's not. If Russia wants to recognize like Sri Lanka as having 3 other extra sand dunes in the middle of the Indian Ocean, it doesn't mean that he's declaring war on the Sri Lankan government or something. Like, that's stupid. Anyways, but, I'm sorry, I ran over Jimmy there. He was trying to
I hereby deem it to be pronounced unleaded or unbreaded.
I was just doing a bill.
Thanks,
Sorry,
Cash.
buddy.
That's good.
You were just what?
I was just doing a bill.
A bill?
A bill.
Yeah.
Oh, a bill.
Yes,
Bill
your
Gates?
friend. Your buddy, Bill Gates, yeah.
Oh. A little depopulation never hurt anybody, did it?
Almost everybody has something to say about what's going on.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's why we're here, because we're like, yeah, we have something to say about it.
Because our country is being dragged into a goddamn war where we shouldn't be. Pardon my French.
So, when I say everybody, I mean everybody. And I know that this has actually been shown on a couple different places or whatever. I've seen this on several different times, and I've seen a couple other people pull it up and actually use it for footage or whatever, because it's interesting.
We know Russia has said that they are recognizing 2 breakaway regions of Ukraine, and now this White House is stating that this is an invasion.
Right, see, that's so ridiculous. Pause this for just a second.
What went wrong here? What is
that statement that he recognizes? Think about it, right? If, let's say, for example, Madagascar recognized Texas as a breakaway state from the Union of the United States, who cares? Why? Oh, it's a sovereign. If they want to draw their map differently, who cares? Like, what's it to you? Oh no, that's a declaration of war. Just by him. They didn't talk about the troops that he's sending in to help the people there. They didn't even mention that. They just said by him recognizing that they're different countries and that they're their own sovereign states, now that's an invasion and that's a declaration of war and we have to react. What the hell? What has the United States been doing across the freaking planet? And, well, not just the United States, more modern age of the United States, but like freaking European powers too.
Put
like,
the roofling in the pudding pop.
Right? But like that's so insane.
Cash said Bill Cosby, so I said you put the roofling in the pudding pop.
But do you understand what I'm saying? Like, that's so insane. Like, if some country says, well, hey, sure, we'll recognize Texas as being an independent sovereign nation, and the rest of the country of the United States says, no, that's not true, well, what are we going to do? Nuke Madagascar now? You're declaring war on Texas. Or that doesn't make any damn sense. But see, again, it's not supposed to make sense. It's just supposed to make you think that, oh my God, it's an invasion. It's an invasion. Holy hell. Oh my God. We need to nuke. We need to go crazy. We need a war. We need a whatever. That's what it's for. It just does. It's just insane. So anyway, sorry. I just, that statement just is so crazy. It's like, what the hell? They want to draw their map differently. Who cares? They can draw a squiggle and Putin can put his signature on Russia. That doesn't mean that, oh my God, Putin's an anti-science guy because he thinks that, the name Putin is etched in Siberia somewhere. It's like, that's what the hell? It's a map. If you don't want to recognize it that way, you don't have to. And Ukraine's not a part of NATO, right? So who cares? Oh, wait. But, what we were talking about earlier, right? They're like everything basically NATO, but only not in name only, right?
They're friends of NATO.
They're friends. We're friendly.
We're like BFFs with Ukraine over here at NATO.
It's just bullshit slashed around everywhere just to create the start of war. That's what they're doing. So anyways.
I gotta step away for a moment, boys. I'll be right back.
Okay. Anyways, it's just an
That's
insane
a strong
statement.
word. What went wrong here? What has the current occupant of the Oval Office done that he could have done differently?
Well, what went wrong was a rigged election, and what went wrong is a candidate that
Fortifications, right?
And
this is not our beliefs. This is the words of this man, not mine, not Shirts, not Jimmy YouTube. This is not us saying that this is what happened. This is Donald Trump saying what he thinks happened. We don't always agree with this man. This is not election disinformation.
Yes, we believe in election fortifications.
This guy thinks, not what I think.
a man that has no concept of what he's doing. I went in yesterday and there was a television.
He doesn't have a
screen,
concept of who the hell he is
this
right now.
This is genius. Putin declares a big portion of the Ukraine. Putin declares it as independent. Oh, that's wonderful. So Putin is now saying it's independent, a large section of Ukraine. I said, how smart is that? And he's going to go in and be a peacekeeper. That's the strongest peace force. We could use that on our southern border. That's the strongest peace force I've ever seen. There were more army.
Gee, what were we talking about in some other videos, right? Like having people talking about how everybody wants to protect the border of Ukraine. Well, why don't we do that to our border?
Right. But no, okay, so
of course he's probably running for president the next time around, so he's getting on the border issue there.
Right. We could use that on our southern border. That's the strongest peace force. I said, how smart is that? And he's going to go in and be a peacekeeper. That's the strongest peace force. We could use that on our southern border. What do you want on our southern border? You want a country that's going to attack us and declare that Texas isn't, part of the United States, and they're going to annex it, and we're just going to sit back and think that that's cool?
Wait, what the hell? No, that's not what he said. He's drawing a comparison.
But
he's saying that we could use that kind of thing.
We could use that at our southern border.
That kind of thing at our southern border. He's not literally saying
what. What does he want at our southern border?
A military force of our own, like Russia does. He's drawing a comparison.
He just wants military force, and he wants that wall complete. I know most of it is.
We could use that on our southern border. That's the strongest peace force I've ever seen. There were more army tanks than I've ever seen. They're going to keep peace all right. No, but think of it. Here's a guy who's very savvy. I know him very well. Very, very well. By the way, this never would have happened with us. Had I been in office, not even thinkable. This would never have happened.
Yeah, because you probably wouldn't have forced war.
I'm going to declare a big portion of Ukraine independent. He used the word independent. And we're going to go out and we're going to go in and we're going to help keep peace. You got to say that's pretty savvy. And you know what the response was from Biden? There was no response. They didn't have one for that. No, it's very sad.
Yeah. The clip comes from Midas Touch. Anybody that knows who Midas Touch is or whatever, he's very left. But, you know, like I said, everybody has something to say about the current crisis at their border. They don't have anything to say about ours because ours is just fine.
Yes, because Ukraine is a sovereign, independent country that has its own borders. How dare someone
What they say
insult
today?
the borders?
2 million? 2 million people crossed the southern border this year?
Oh my God, it's more than that. But that's what they claim is like some of the official numbers. But
It's like
oh God, it's way more.
2 million a day, isn't it?
Right. The number that they claimed supposedly claimed today was like 2 million or something like that. I'm like, even that.
I'm thinking like the real numbers are it's probably like 10 million plus.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right.
A lot more.
And they're just flying them all over the country. It's like, all right, they
keep doing it.
They got their little folder, and they got maybe a kid with them, and they're flying all over the country. And they drop them off. Here you go.
In the middle of the night.
You know about our welfare plans already from the people in your country. It's all good.
So.
Then Bill Gates can depopulate, and then look, we have a new workforce. Yes.
In my search for things today,
I wear a pink sweater. Everyone loves me. You have to wear a mask? Well, gee, why should we wear pants? I'm so clever.
So I went and I Googled searched this one. I'm like, NATO, Ukraine, military strength, and
is there depopulation in this? No, I'm just kidding.
There possibly could be some large population.
It's just like, oh please,
depopulate.
Sorry, Frogman, please.
No, you can.
Do not.
So anyway, in my search today, I went to Google and I put in military strength.
Famous last words of Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
Famous last words. From then on, the meme cannons. It's just she's dead. Like there's Kamala Harris is no more. Kamala Harris is just nothing but a pile of like leftover parts of like meme cannons. And it's just like she's not even there anymore. Or she gets on the stage and it's just everybody just sees just all of the memes that have been fired by meme cannons. It's just nothing but just giant memes everywhere, all over her face. Everything. It's just memes.
Well, that's the intention.
She after that statement that she made, like do not come. Like she's done. She's done. Bye. Like, over. You have been bombarded into oblivion now. You are a walking, talking, freaking meme at this point. You have been completely overwhelmed by the gunfire of the meme cannons. Anyways, but yeah, that was her. That was famous last words of hers.
So this guy, this person, Prime Entertainment, looks like they only have 32 subscribers. They did some comparison stuff for us. This is NATO and Ukraine versus Russia and China military power, just because they had a different one that I was going to do, which was just NATO versus Russia. But because of the date that he made that video compared to the date that he made this video, which was only like 2 days ago, they went and actually added also Ukraine and China into it or whatever to actually give you the actual inflated numbers of potential people that would actually have interest in this particular world war that we're going through. And there's music, so I'm not going to turn on the volume. We're just going to look at it. And because I don't really know what the music's all really about.
The music.
Yeah. But there's lots of numbers and lots of information that comes along with this video. There's NATO headquarter capital, Brussels key. Capital, Moscow, Beijing.
Oh no, that's not NATO capital.
No,
Brussels is
Brussels is headquartered.
EU.
Is NATO's
European Union.
The capital of Ukraine is Kyiv. The capital
Brussels
of
is
Russia is Moscow. The capital of China is Beijing.
Yeah, but just to be clear, NATO doesn't have a capital. It's a military alliance.
That's
EU.
why it says headquarter / capital. So.
Oh, you're just saying it for the sake of the video. Okay, never mind.
Right. This is what the video is showing. So, right, headquarters of NATO is in Brussels, according to the video. Which,
in this sort of hypothetical comparison or whatever.
Right. In this military power comparison, this is what they're actually going.
Okay, sorry.
Right. That's why it's kind of interesting how they break certain things out. So there's your square kilometers in area.
Yeah, well, it's like half of it's Greenland or something, right? It's like, I mean, well, not half of it, but like it's pretty neat swath. If you took out Greenland and like all of that Arctic tundra,
right,
it's even colder than frickin' Siberia at times.
With minimal population.
Ooh.
Oh.
The minimal, so there is depopulation after all.
Oh, we got Bill's attention again.
I'm going to cover the world with the black dust like it's a volcano, and then it'll be really cold, and we won't have summer. Maybe that will cause some depopulation.
We need to take about 10% off there, Bill.
Well, that was just public. Like, privately, I'd love to see a little more than that.
You don't seem to be working fast enough at that. I need you to step it up just a little bit. Because here's your population. Here's your population right here. Look at this. NATO Ukraine population, 985.46 million. Population of Russia and China together, 1.58 billion. I mean, it's not really, when you look at the number, you're like, oh, it says billion.
Don't trust China. China is asshole.
That's a big number.
Don't trust China. China is asshole.
Gates needs to work on his depopulation.
Yeah, he sucks at it.
Well, you know what they say about people who don't like me, right? They got to be really careful. Well, not necessarily like, but just have some things on me.
Listen, I don't know shit about Bill Gates' private life, other than he likes to probably diddle kids, allegedly.
Double allegedly, is there, right? But at any rate,
here's your GDP. I mean, really, some of this information is kind of like, oh, okay. Who really looks at the GDP of all NATO and Ukraine versus Russia and China? I mean, this is, when you look at the number difference or whatever, obviously it should be different. There's a heck of a lot more countries that are involved. But
also the other thing you have to realize is that all these countries over here on this NATO and Ukraine side, right? Those countries all are running their freaking stuff through China. And so China's only getting a portion as it comes through their country, and then they're getting the rest of it. So they're kind of, And of course, China's running the slave camps, right? So, And they're commies and fascists, so it's not like they can really develop anything.
Oh,
too
we
much
we
of
we totally
GDP.
support those slave camps. By the way, like in the last Mulan movie, the live action one, they thanked one of those concentration camps at the end of it in the end credits.
Yeah. Yeah, they filmed outside of it, like on their
Yep.
property. Yeah.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. I was like, hey, thanks for letting us come over here.
They
We
got their
really
permission to do
appreciate
it.
that. God.
So then
Yeah,
look at
he's
that
right.
screen. There's your per capita income. Look at the difference in
I wonder why.
Mhm. I mean, we can kind of get into it a little bit on why their income is low as it is, what they actually do to their people. We won't go there.
Yes, we love Hillary Clinton. What? No, I'm just kidding.
I love Barack America. He's
Yeah.
the best Negro president we ever had.
He's a clean, well-spoken guy. I mean, he really surprises
I literally
you.
said that.
He really just surprises you.
It's exactly what it was. So, I was going to bring it back to this one here real quick. The per capita income was sitting at 11 grand. And I don't eat 3 meals a day. I maybe eat one, if possibly two, depending on the day, depending on how hungry I am when I wake up in the morning.
That and the coffee, when they give you money from buymeacoffee.com/Koolfrog.
Come on, buy him a coffee.
Yeah.
I
Get him
wish
a
they would.
there.
But I look at grocery bill. Grocery bill just
Listen to the
alone.
poor man here. He can't barely get his groceries in the door.
Right, exactly.
Get him some more.
When you think about it, 3 people in the household, and I even rounded it down a little bit. I rounded it to about $150 a week
If you
for the
got it,
52 weeks, $7,800 in groceries alone. How are these people at $11,715 able to purchase anything, nonetheless a fancy car or a house, anything else for that matter?
yeah.
You own nothing and be happy.
It's happening.
Along with some depopulation too, But hey, I wear a pink sweater. You can't judge me. And Mark Zuckerberg he wears a pink sweater too. Anyway.
See, this is where I got the 30 from. See, it says member states. There's 30.
Yeah, see, notice we preface this with Ukraine, not a member.
Right, Ukraine
it's
is
like,
not.
Again, it's like,
member.
Why the hell? But whatever, right? Let's just throw our military people around like they're freaking rag dolls. We got pregnant women flying in freaking jet planes. We got all the rest of this stupid shit. We like, oh, hey, you want a training surgery? No, too bad you're getting it. It's like, oh yeah, we got all this, crazy crap going on in the military or whatever. I'm just kidding. That doesn't actually happen, but I'm exaggerating, but still, right? It's like, it's just that batshit. It's that crazy. It's like, let's get all of the mentally ill psychos and the overly hormonal women in the front lines that are carrying little babies in their wombs. Let's put them on the front lines. That's exactly what a country does when they want to sacrifice their own freaking people and kill them.
So then this screen really kind of confused me a little bit. So then the second side of it or whatever shows global military rank of 2 and 3 for Russia and China. It's because technically the United States would be number 1 according to most everybody or whatever. That's why we're the peacekeepers of everything, and we got 29.
Is that what we are?
Right, we're the 20. We have 29 other countries that are part of this quote unquote NATO.
So that's what they want. Like, all these people that are in charge of NATO are just freaking OCD on steroids. They're like, damn, we just got to have that even 30, right? Is that what that's all about?
Yeah, maybe. There's a couple of friendly territories like the Ukraine.
They're all like
that aren't part of NATO.
Do you remember that old the older TV show Monk? Well, not older, but earlier, I guess. TV show Monk, right? And he's like freaking OCD on steroids. He's like, no, you just gotta No, it's gotta be even number. No, it's like, but that costs another $50. I don't care. It has to be even. It's like
I could be
it's like,
wrong,
is that what
but
this
I'm
is?
not.
Right.
Excellent show.
Yes, that was a great show.
There's your budget. NATO and Ukraine, $1.3 trillion defense budget.
60% of that's the United States. Well, actually, I don't know about that now, but maybe Biden reversed that. But under Trump, that was the way it was, and then he reversed it back to other nations paying for it. But then I don't know what it is now.
Right, because under Trump, we removed certain parts of NATO. Like, we were pretty much going to do away with it.
Yeah, because even he was like, "Why does this exist? Russia's not,
Right.
that big of a it's not the Soviet Union anymore. Like, hey guys, what are we doing?"
And I really don't know if this is even true either. 220 billion for both Russia and China. I mean,
Yeah, I would believe that.
It's still, to me, it seems like it's a little low. It just seems, these numbers aren't to where they should actually
Well,
be.
the thing is, you got to remember with China here is that they don't have to pay people to make military arms; they just force them to. So it's like, so there doesn't have to be a lot of money
Make it
spent to get a
die.
lot of things out, right? Like here, we have to pay people, so that's why we spend so much. But there, it's like, oh, we can just force them at gunpoint. Yeah, they have more because Russia has a ton left over from the Soviet Union.
Right. So, I mean, there's plenty of nuclear weapons
And of course, China has them too.
on the face of this planet.
Too many. It's like 6,000. Do you really need 6,000? I know that's combined the number, right? But it's like, wow, that's a lot. Could hit every country like what, 5 times over or something? Whatever. I don't know what the number would be.
So then total military, look at that, 7.27 million versus 6.92 million. Now, these are actually enlisted military units that are, around the world. That's a nice large number of military units that can go and help with the depopulation.
But I mean, seriously, right? Like, you put pregnant women on the front line, you're literally telling the enemy, hey, kill us, please. Like, it's what you're doing, not only in battle, but also just because, again, right? That's what it's always been, right? You protect the women and the children, but, and then the men go out in front and then they fight. But when you put freaking pregnant women that are carrying your future out into the front lines, you were literally telling the enemy, hey, we don't even want to exist anymore. Please kill us off. Like, that's what you're saying.
What about the pregnant men?
You know what?
They have emojis on my phone now.
And Mark Zuckerberg wears a pink sweater now too, and he started the metaverse. But what the hell? Let's just if you get my point. In response.
So now this is what actually gets me, is because now it shows actual active personnel. So, the difference between the 7 and 3 million, 4 million of it's saying that there's still military personnel that can actually be called back into service. These ones are actually active. These are the ones that are actually on those front lines.
And if they're not, then they get shot
in the helicopters, on the boats, doing what they need to do, and doing what they're told to do. I'm kind of really surprised that there's that number's that large, because there's an awful lot of people that are following along with Bill Gates's idea of depopulation. If we do a good job.
Now, if we do a really great job on new jabs and health care and reproductive services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%. Anyways, I don't see.
There's an awful
I
lot of
exactly.
compliance there. So I mean,
Oh yeah, I
it
see.
basically broke it down for us on, so there's the reserve personnel. That's the ones that are not active.
You see my jabs. They're required for military service now. I'm so wonderful.
I mean, it's not the worst thing they've done to the military servicemen, to be honest.
Oh, but Bill Gates would beg to differ.
So then there's your combat tanks. Look at 23,000 versus 16,000. Look at their old stupid tanks that they still run around on.
Not all of them look like that, but yeah.
You'd think that they would, have a better tread, whatever.
I mean, God only knows what that picture's from. I mean, like,
Wheels better.
Yeah, I don't know.
America's
Yeah,
funniest home
crazy
videos. We got 115,870.
Jimmy, what did you say?
Wow,
I said
that's some
one
pretty low
crazy
ratings
taxi.
there.
Crazy taxi. Oh.
I mean, I would expect China to have lower ratings of this over there. After all, it's America's funniest home videos, right? So they don't get as many views, I guess. But hey,
MRAPs.
Damn. I want that
Apparently
to
we
be my
have a
daily
couple
driver.
more. I'm sorry, Jimmy. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you. I just said I want that to be my daily driver.
AFV with white walls. Oh God. Anyway.
MRAP.
Excuse me. Freaking frog again in my throat.
No, you said that wrong. You shouldn't say that.
Gay frogs.
Freaking frogs, gay. Do you understand that? God, I can't even talk right now. I'm so freaking. God, I gotta clear my throat. Ugh.
That's better.
Anyway.
These armored carriers, there's an awful lot of them compared to the other side. So then, look, artillery 16.3 to 14.2. We're going to move through this a little quicker. Rocket launchers 5.361.
Rocket Man is on a suicide mission for himself.
According to this, there's more rockets over on the other side.
I approve.
Or that's just the launcher.
What the heck? Lightning?
I mean,
Monsieur Leclerc.
that number is a dramatic difference.
Oh yeah, because U.S. is like supreme air power,
right? Just saying, I really don't know what all aircraft look like or whatever, but this Russia-China side airplane, it kind of looks like a United States airplane. I mean, I could be totally wrong, But
Well, I mean, they
to
steal all the
me,
designs for everything, so you know.
right? To me, it really seriously looks like it's a
Don't trust China. China is asshole.
Her.
Oh crap! What did I do? Anyway, see,
Not
don't
that
trust
guy.
China. See, like crap will start falling everywhere.
attack aircraft 36 to 1001.
Ooh, look! It looks like a cool, you know,
Fighter jets 37 to
Aquaman thing.
19.
Aquamarine.
Strategic bombers.
Oh, look! See, it's the B1. What is it? B2 bomber, B1 bomber, whatever the hell.
Right. So our undetectable
Remember the movie we watched?
compared to their big, huge old strategic bomber that they got.
That's a stealth boomer on the left side there.
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah.
R, so then
Yeah. So Godzilla can't see you. What?
he still sees you. Trust me. What's that laser? Oh shit!
Trainer aircraft. No, these are the ones that they go and they crash off into the ocean because they're like, I fucked up.
Okay.
I don't know. Helicopters. Look at that. Why were Lithuanian Air Force looking at their helicopters? I mean, I guess.
Freaking Lithuanians. I don't know anything about them, but whatever.
Well, Lithuania is part of NATO, so I mean, it is what it is. But attack copters.
Ooh, that one looks like a
lot more.
dinosaur.
Yeah, it does.
The one on the right looks like a freaking news helicopter.
It looks like they took an ambulance and they extended it, and then they like put a top on it. They
So
put like
it's an attack helicopter. There's
Yeah,
people
Just
that
glue the
they
rotor on.
put like a spinny top on it, you know, like one of those spinny caps.
Excellent.
they got a mounted gun. This one doesn't have it mounted. They just open their doors and aim from any direction. Pull at your sniper rifles. Let's go, boys.
Super rifle.
No, that's the one where they have the cameras come out, right, and it prints the money.
Yeah.
That's a drone. Type
Except
thing,
it doesn't print the money. It's like their camera sucks up their money because they went woke.
Oh yes, once they go woke, it goes in reverse. Is that... It's like, no, it's eating it. Make it stop.
Precisely.
Anyway, that was from earlier in the video.
I believe this is
It
drone
was a meme. But anyway.
drone stuff. Military drones is basically what this would be. So
Like, what does it stand for? Like unmanned aviation vehicles or whatever, or aerial vehicles, air vehicles? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Stands for I gotta kill street.
Good one there, Jimmy.
There's a lot more transport.
Yes, a lot more to transport random ass Afghanis out of there, and then the ones that are actually vetted that are Christians, we'll just leave them there to die along with our people. But what the hell? Lots of those to go around, right? No, I'm just kidding.
We can refuel in the sky. There's going to be a couple of planes that are going to be able to refuel. Some of those planes might not get refueled over on the other side. They might have to actually go back to base land before they can actually come back.
It looks like a commercial airliner. Why is that picture there?
Yeah, it kind of does. They should have put the spigot out the back or whatever so that you can see that it looked like it was actual tanker.
Ooh, lines. Oh, now we're back to
Navy.
Ooh, that's the exact same picture.
Yep. He was getting bored doing his job. He's like, well, I can't find a picture of what the Russian or China naval fleet looks like.
cash
Wow.
typed.
Cash.
Yeah, but we got Chuck
Yeah,
Norris.
but we.
Yeah! Boom! Take that. He'll take all you all out in one swing.
Now you done messed up. You fucked up now. Now you fucked up. Now you fucked up.
So that's a lot of aircraft carriers that we got sitting over in.
Oh yeah, that's the Avengers, home away from home vehicle, right?
Aren't most of those in the China Sea?
Yeah, most likely. With airplanes that are able to actually, reach destination within moments, probably. Yeah,
I'm only
that's a
kidding, by the way.
huge carrier. Holy man. And it looks like it's got a Russian flag on there. Or maybe that's a Chinese flag that's on there.
I'm thinking that's Chinese.
Yeah, it's a China flag on there. But that's an awful long swooping deck on there as opposed to our, quick, easy drop off.
Oh hey, bring this back to here again.
Okay, so destroyers 113, 65.
65. Woo!
Frigates 150, 57.
Frigate. Rip.
Corvettes 230 to 157.
Little red Corvette. Anyway.
Submarines.
Oh look, it's a bullet bill.
165 to 143. Unbelievable.
Go all the way up to the front.
Patrol vessels 231.
Heck yeah, we're gonna win. We got Chuck Norris and bullet bills. Hell yeah.
Hey. Mine.
Oh, that's the blue shell.
164 to 84.
Are these all sailors?
I like how he keeps on using the same pictures over and over again.
Yeah, it's really, really aesthetically pleasing.
Oh, yeah. Look at all those ports and terminals everywhere. How is this true? China and Russia only have 30 ports? Really?
I'm thinking that's a little understated.
I thought China was buying territory around the world and they're building infrastructure almost everywhere.
They are.
Right. They have to have more than 30 ports. They probably have 30 ports on homeland.
Whether or not all those ports are occupied by ships yet, but they're being constructed and some of them have been built.
Right.
Quickly.
And same thing with airports. I mean, there's no way that number's exactly that way. That we have this many and they only have that many. I mean, it just, I'm like, I really like this guy's, job, for how he did this or whatever. And he did a good job, but yeah, I keep on saying it's a he. I don't know if it's a he. They
How
did a good
dare
job.
you assume people's genders?
Right. I just keep on assuming.
He could be a freaking dragon for all you know, and you're just calling him a he. So that's the only part of him that you're describing. How dare you? You white supremacist freak, you.
Ooh, white supremacist pizza.
You
See, everybody
see,
knows
see that
frogs
distance
are
on there?
freaking supremacists in this. It's just.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't you know Pepe or Keck?
Right, exactly, right? You see that OK sign there and his symbol there? You can't see it, but you really have to look close. You got to use X-ray, and then you got to put a little UV light on it, You can totally see
And then you gotta switch the tones.
Yeah, right. Right, exactly.
So it's in the negative.
Yep.
Then you'll see it clearly.
Clearly.
So,
Anyway.
cruise missiles, just as well as the other missiles, you can see that the range is actually a little bit higher. The ICBMs, the range was higher. There's 13 to 18 on that range. Do they give up accuracy with range?
I don't know. Do they know?
That's my question on that, because I mean, obviously, you're out able to.
Well, obviously.
Your arm is stronger, but are you more accurate?
Right.
You know,
Maybe a trade-off there.
right?
Oh, hey,
Kinda what
Koolfrogg,
I-
we're past 2 hours.
There's a little bit of a trade-off on that.
Fuck you, Susan, you fucking bitch.
Yes, go to
Missile
sleep. Go,
technology under development in the USA. we haven't come up with hypersonic missile technology.
oh, yeah, we have. We just
You
don't
should.
show it off like other people do. Allegedly. Allegedly, right?
Have to say allegedly for known facts.
Yes, this is YouTube. What else did you expect? I know,
Damn.
Susan, you're busy sleeping in bed with your favorite lover, the love of your life, Cenk Uygur.
Again, this is Prime Entertainment that did this. They only have 32 subscribers.
Yeah, this is Prime Entertainment.
decent
Freaking
job
Cenk
for what
Uygur
it
in bed
was.
with Susan, the
I bet
horse.
if he had more subscribers, he'd put more content out.
I'm kidding. No,
Keep on calling it a he.
yeah, Prime.
I bet they would actually put more content out and actually do a lot more work if they had more subscribers.
Thank you for using a gender-neutral pronoun. I appreciate that.
Horse. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's see, what didn't I do?
But yes, Susan, go to bed with your favorite lover, Cenk Uygur, and
Oh, whichever horse that may be.
Whichever horse.
well, she's the horse.
You want to see
Well,
a
it would make
horse?
sense that she enjoys horses. You know.
No, she likes
Cockles.
people. She's into people. Just like Cenk is into, no. Of course, I can't say this for a fact. Maybe you're right. Maybe,
Speaking of horses,
maybe she swings both ways there. I don't know.
Oh, jeez. on the Raggedy Ann.
we're not going to go through this whole thing. We're not going to listen to what she has to say the whole time. We're just going to listen to what this guy has to say.
Good evening. Okay.
Good evening, class.
Popular
I'm your
demand.
bitchy substitute
Just
teacher
a
who
few days
hates
after his first
you.
engagement with us. Dilip is here. He is going to give some
She gets
brief
her
remarks
mask
at the
stuck.
top about the sanctions announcement today. He has a hard out, so he's only going to be able
He has
to
a
take
hard
questions
R,
today, but we're
and he'd like to share it with you.
Get over to you.
Meh.
And just pause it. He goes,
Russia's
he
long
says it.
previewed invasion of
It's the only
Ukraine.
thing. This is right there. There we go. That's all you.
Yeah, look, he's gonna say it.
And so
Oh.
too has our response. Today, the president responded swiftly.
He's like, hey, I'm
and in
sorry.
lock-
Joe Biden told me to say it. He also said that get out of my Texas ranch. What are you doing
Lockstep
on
with
my
allies and
horse? When I was
partners.
in the Oval Office with him, so I mean, But he told me to say the R, the hard R. So
So who the hell is this guy?
Dilip Singh.
The speed and coordination was historic. In previous sanctions regimes, it took weeks and months to mount a decisive response. This time, we announced our first tranche of sanctions in less than a day. And in lockstep with allies and partners in the European Union, the United
did
Kingdom,
he say
Canada,
lockstep again?
He sure did.
These freaking globalist hacks, they just love that word lockstep, don't they?
Japan,
Mhm.
and Australia.
Love
Let me
that
say a
word
few-
lockstep.
He added Japan and Australia into it.
And in lockstep with allies and partners in the European Union, the United Kingdom, Canada, Japan, and Australia. Let me
We're in lockstep with Canada. Oh my God! Please no.
Yeah,
say a
right.
few words about the details of the package.
But we are. It's just not here yet.
First,
We're getting there.
hello. There's no easy segue from that.
Wait, what the hell did he say? I was talking.
Close your ears.
Yeah, go back.
Hello. First, let me say a few words about the details of the package. First,
Not really sure what happened there. I can't.
Are they that immature?
I can't turn my volume up anymore.
Somebody spoke up.
Canada,
What did she say?
Japan, and Australia. Let me say a few words about the details of the package.
Sounded like there's a little kid or something that said something.
I think somebody said package, right as he said
First.
package.
Hello. There's no segue from that.
Oh, okay, so it's someone in the background then.
Close your ears. First, after consultations overnight with Germany,
Okay, so it's probably a little
Russia's
kid.
Nord Stream 2 natural gas pipeline will not become operational. That's an $11 billion investment in a prized gas pipeline controlled by Russia that will now go to waste, and it sacrifices what would have been a cash cow for Russia's coffers. But it's not just about the money.
I just listen to these
decision-
people talk and insult Russia like nothing. Just constantly. Constantly. It's like, God. It's like, oh, well, that's not going to become unoperational. And, that would have been like a cash cow for them and their coffers. Like, wow. And they just keep this shitting language on and on and on.
Look at her face.
Yeah, that's my face. Like, what the? Yeah.
That's
will
exactly
relieve
what
Russia's
everybody else.
hold over Europe through its supply of gas, and it's a major turning point in the world's energy independence from Russia. Second,
Independence
we've
from Russia? What the hell? As Germany's trying to get Russia's Nord Stream to go over and give them oil there a while ago, right? Of course, ultimately just to cut it off because, because they're part of NATO. But I mean, still, it's like, independence from Russia? You were already that way under Trump. We were already giving you oil. Oh, wait, no. We had to shut that down and then maneuver things all around the globe so that way we can have war with Russia in the timely manner that we want. Yes, of course. Right. And we'll just act like the Trump administration just didn't exist. Because,
demonstrated
everybody's
the
so
potency of our
reliant
financial
upon Russia. Oh, those evil bastards. God. Anyways, I'm sorry. This guy is pissing me off. Just his face.
From Russia.
It's smirking when he says it all like,
We've
it's so
demonstrated
funny.
the potency of our financial sanctions. And make no mistake, this is only the sharp edge of the pain we can inflict. In lockstep with our allies,
the pain.
There it is again.
The pain.
Look at her.
I love
face
talking
again.
pain. Yeah. God. I'm starting to think she's a little tipsy when she comes on here,
global financial system, the fifth largest
Of course,
Russian
with that kind of job, you might have to be.
financial institution,
Yeah.
VEB. This is a glorified piggy bank for the Kremlin that holds more than $50 billion in assets. We're also fully blocking Promvaya's bank. This is a bank that holds $35 billion in assets that finances the activities of the Russian military. In plain English, full block means these
So
banks
Russia's not
can
allowed
no
to have a military now? I guess. Like, oh, the coffers of the military. Oh, okay, well, can we just, get rid of Raytheon and pass a law to get rid of Raytheon? Oh my God, no! Right?
In plain English, full block means these banks can no longer make any transactions with the U.S. nor with Europe, as Europe matched our actions, and their assets in our respective financial systems will be frozen. And let me be totally clear, no Russian financial institution is safe if the invasion proceeds.
Why? What are you going to do? Going to go after the bank?
We are ready to press a button to take action on the two largest Russian financial institutions, which collectively hold almost $750 billion in assets, or more than half of the total in the Russian banking system. Third, together with our allies, we've also cut off the Russian government, the Russian central bank, and Russian sovereign wealth funds from new financing from the US and Europe. The Kremlin can no longer raise money from the US or Europe, and its new debt can no longer trade on US or European financial markets. Fourth, we've fully sanctioned a group of Russian elites and their family members. These individuals share in the corrupt gains of the Kremlin, and they will now share in the pain. Other Russian elites and their family members.
I mean, just listen
are
to the
now
way
on
that they talk. It's like, they share in the corruption of the Kremlin. Now they will share in the pain. I mean, what
And
the
he
hell?
says it so tepidly. It's so
Yes.
so casually. It should
Yeah.
be said with much more seriousness.
Yes, exactly. That's serious language. And yet he's just reading it out like he's reading some sort of storybook, like a bedtime story to his little
Like it's
kid.
right off the prompter.
The seriousness, though, I mean, it can't be like Joe Biden serious. It needs to be a little bit more than just a point of a finger and a little bit of a supposedly angry voice. You know,
Well, Joe Biden's not serious. That's the whole thing.
well, right. This guy needs to actually, step it up for a second. He should have read all this beforehand and know what he's actually saying. For him to be looking down the whole time is ridiculous.
Notice that additional actions could be taken on them as well. I also want to take a minute to address a key part of the president's speech on energy markets. We were deliberate to direct the pain of our sanctions towards the Russian economy, not
Direct
ours.
the pain. They keep referencing their sanctions not as sanctions, but as pain. The pain! The pain! What the hell is wrong with these people? Oh yeah, they want war. That's what it is. And they're just constantly using this freaking language all the freaking time. But yeah, that's what they're saying now, I guess. So every time they say pain, it means sanctions. They can't even say the word sanction. It's a literal term that you use between nations. They can't even say that because they just hate Russia so bad. They want to bomb the hell out of them, I guess. And they just want to cause war. That they're just like, we just want pain for you. We're just little sadists over here. Just imagine us as sadists, Putin. My God. God, these people. Anyways. Sorry. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
He gone.
It was the power of my rant. It turned his Wi-Fi couldn't handle it.
It was too powerful.
Yeah. Just
Well,
pisses me
you've been
off.
promoted again. You
I
are
know,
now
right?
Captain Crunch.
Yeah, Captain Crunch. God, but yeah, I mean, that's what they keep saying, right? It's what Biden keeps referring to sanctions as. He just calls it pain. It's called a sanction. Oh no, it's called pain now. It's called pain now because we want to just make the language edgy and just want to try to get underneath of Putin's skin and be like,
I think
yeah,
that might
Putin,
be right too.
we're
It's
causing
like,
you pain.
what happens if he just throws a missile over this one?
That's what they want him to do. They keep egging him. Yeah, that's exactly right. It's like, yeah, they just want him to chuck a missile and hit some freaking U.S. place and then like, oh my God, we're at war. Quick, mount the guns. This horrible tyrant bastard, this freak. Oh my God. It's like you literally just keep insulting him every freaking day. If he's as evil and crazy as you say he is, why do you literally at every possible moment and chance that you get constantly insulting him and throwing things at him? Why? Wouldn't you rather, if you're really about diplomacy, why do you keep calling him names and insulting him and every chance you get using this stupid poetic language rather than using nation state terms that you use between two nation states, like sanction?
Because they speak the language of double. Right? Like they speak one thing, but it's really a completely different thing that's separate from that they really mean.
Yeah. It's like they don't want it. They don't even want to use the term sanction because sanctions, I mean, okay, that has some weird political term to it. No. We want Putin and these other people to see this as us causing you pain for the sake of us causing you pain, right? It's almost as though they kind of know what's going on in the background and it's like, let's just rub it in. We caused it. We stirred the pot. We did it all. And now we're going to sanction you for it. Feel the pain, Putin. What are you going to do about it, Putin, huh? We're causing you pain. The pain. And they're just going to keep gaslighting until, something happens. Of course, I don't think it will. Maybe I don't. And by me saying that, I don't think Putin will actually lose his temper and just go batshit. But that's what they kind of are wanting to happen, right? Is for him to have some sort of reaction. But at any rate, right? I mean, yeah, I guess it is double speak. They mean one thing, but, say another.
Precisely. We call that lying around these parts.
Now, son, you haven't been to D.C. See, in good old District of Columbia, we call that political language. We call
We
that
call that
all around.
negotiation.
Yeah, we call that negotiation.
Fuck.
And that too.
God damn it.
And that.
I was actually able to stop the video before it crashed.
Oh, so we're not live?
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
This video. Yeah, I was able to stop
job.
this video before it crashed. I seen the warning come up. I'm like, oh, pause.
Impressive.
Pause.
Cat-like reflexes.
So,
Stability of global energy supplies. Let me just end where I started. This was the beginning of an invasion.
Yeah, you'd
and
end
this
where
is
you
the
started and
beginning-
walk the hell away. You should end where you started by coming in the room. Just do the opposite. Go right back out. Just shut the hell up. Anyway.
Of our response. The actions we took today were only the first tranche. If Putin escalates further, we will escalate further, using financial sanctions and export controls, which we've yet to unveil, but which are fully prepared to implement with allies and partners across the world. Lastly, make no mistake, our response goes well beyond sanctions and export control.
what's with the grimace on his face? Like he's ready to smile.
Because he loves this.
He's like, I got to do something.
He's got a little
finally.
boner.
But which are fully prepared to implement with allies and partners
He just tucked
across
it.
the world. Lastly, make no mistake, our response goes well beyond sanctions and export controls. We're
Right in
continuing
between
to
his little
fortify
balls.
NATO's eastern flank to reinforce our sacred Article 5 commitment to defend every inch of NATO territory. Just today, the President announced that additional troops and equipment will be shifted within Europe to the Baltics. We'll continue to provide defensive assistance to Ukraine.
This is the
already
other
over
thing. They're sending freaking military shit to the Balkans. No
For
one's
why?
doing anything in the Balkans, and they're putting military forces. Why? Exactly. Why are they doing that? Oh, to egg it on more. There's nothing militarily going on in the Balkans right now. It's all in Ukraine for the most part. Oh, but we're going to beef up everything over on NATO's border with Russia, which is the only border that Russia and NATO share, right, is the Baltics. So we're just going to beef that up. But we don't want war. We want diplomacy. But we just keep talking like this. I mean, it's literal, as Jimmy said, it's complete doublespeak.
Europe
They
to the
speak
Baltics.
the language of
We'll
lies.
continue to provide
I call that
defensive
bullshitting,
assistance to Ukraine. Already
it's
over
also-
the past year, we provided $650 billion to this effect, the most of any year. And we'll continue to work with allies and
It's
partners to provide
actually
economic
worse than
assistance.
speaking in haikus.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we're not causing any problem. We're not building things up on Putin's border. Putin has no reason to be upset with us. Oh, Putin, you did something. Oh, okay, well, we're just going to beef up the Baltic region where there's no military action with military stuff and point them right at you. Okay, that's great. I mean, this is where we're at with these people. But, oh, we don't want war. Oh, wait, but we do. But we really don't. We just want to cause pain, remember? Pain. God.
To Ukraine. With the idea being we want to create a successful alternative in Ukraine to Russian-style kleptocracy, which may be Putin's greatest fear of all. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you speak a little bit more?
Sounds like a fucking high schooler getting through his speech.
Yeah, he does.
This has been an effort ongoing now for several months.
He's like, oh, the globalists will be so happy with me. I'll get a pay raise. Yes.
You notice how many people are in here. Deucey's back. And it's a full room. Yeah,
Hey,
they're all wearing their masks or whatever, but they had been like they're skipping every 2 seats or whatever and then stagger themselves through.
Yeah, now
for
they're
the
just
longest
packed in
time.
I guess
Now
they've
they're
been
packed
jabbed
in.
85 times.
Like, yes, you can
They're all
come
equally
in.
dead. What?
Energy prices fight the way that President Biden appears to worry that they will.
yet.
It's terrible.
So this is an ongoing effort
What
and
is
a
up with
sensitive
their
effort.
facial
We can give you
expressions? They're so vivid.
a bit of detail on what that involves. Number one, it involves coordinating our actions with major energy producers. We all have reserves at our disposal, and those reserves can help support the supply of energy worldwide. Number two, we're working closely with
You
major
also had
energy
freaking
producers.
oil companies that were
Many of
allowed
them
to pump oil that you shut the hell off to just, cause our economy to go belly up. And then, oh my God, everyone's so reliant on Putin. Guess what? We're going to shut it off. We didn't have anything planned. No. God. Build back
have-
better, ladies and gentlemen.
Several of them have the spare capacity to provide supply to global energy markets and to balance the market in the event of supply disruption. Number three, we can work with energy companies to surge their capacity to supply energy to the market, particularly as prices rise. And number four, we can be very clear that if President Putin weaponizes energy supply, it will be met with massive consequences, and it will only accelerate the diversification of Europe and the world away from Russian
Weaponizes.
energy.
Isn't that what you all are doing with our oil supply? You literally cut Europe off from our oil supply, and you took away our production of oil and then made them reliant on Russia just to shut Russia's oil line off them and then use that as a means by which to get after Putin. But no, we didn't have any, So they're shutting down our economy's ability to grow because of, and infrastructure and so forth because of oil. And they're shutting off Europe's as well. And then, we're going to leave Putin's open until we want it shut down. And then, okay, well, now it's going to be shut down because now we want war with you. It's like they're trying to deindustrialize and then cause a war at the same time.
Interesting.
It's like
That's
they
an
had
interesting
this
thought.
all planned out. But what the hell? I'm crazy, right?
To what seems to be
We don't
They're
need
just
to
literally
tell people
doing all
what
this
you
stuff and then
are.
talk about, getting rid of oil and getting rid of all this stuff and, herding you into little cities and you don't need this and you won't own nothing and you'll be happy. And, God, this pisses me off.
delinking the sanctions. Initially, the president was signaling if there is an invasion or a further invasion.
No, I got to bring this back because when you listen to this guy asking this question, look at the young lady that's sitting in front of
Quickly to the decision to what seems to be delinking the sanctions. Initially, the president was signaling if there is an invasion or a further invasion, that the sanctions would come full stop, one swoop. Now we're seeing sort of more of a...
She's staring at him like, what are you saying? This one, she kind of winced a little bit. He's got this angry scowl on his face, whatever. He's got his whole forehead's all wrinkled up. I'm trying to think about what is this guy actually fucking asking?
approach. You're warning here today that the president goes further, so will the sanctions. Can you walk us through that process at all? It seems like the U.S. is now breaking its sanctions package into chunks, whereas the expectation had been that it would come all at once.
Yeah, well, look, today's package is a severe action. I walked through the elements of it with Nord Stream, the financial sanctions, sovereign debt, and the elites. Number two, it's just the beginning. This was the beginning of an invasion. This is just the beginning of our response. But number three, and this really gets to your question, I think, most fundamentally, no one should think that it's our goal to max out on sanctions. Sanctions are not an end to themselves. They serve a higher purpose. And that purpose is to deter and prevent. They're meant to
Because we
prevent
serve
and
higher powers than us. Anyway.
deter a large-scale invasion of Ukraine that could involve the seizure of major cities, including Kyiv. They're meant to prevent large-scale human suffering that could involve tens of thousands of casualties in a conflict. And they're meant to prevent the installation of a puppet government controlled by Moscow that subjugates
Oh, you
the
mean
will
like
of
we
Ukraine.
puppet control freaking Kiev? But what the hell? Let's just keep freaking projecting our shit onto Russia and try to make them pissed off.
And prevents the people of Ukraine.
Obviously, America sure has an issue with this guy.
Oh, I clearly do.
I'd wanna-
Unashamedly do. This smug little bastard just sits up here and says all this shit like he's reading some freaking storybook and like, oh, I like the ending that this gives. Pain for the Ruskies. Like, the hell? And of course, like you said, he's like a little high school kid, right? And he's like, he's just sitting up there like, oh yeah, like I just read this all up, and then there's the pain for the Russians and the I liked how this story ended, right?
Am I
What
here?
the hell's happening?
Something Wong.
Something Wong. Holy
I'm not
fuck.
gonna telegraph exactly what it would take and under what circumstances that would occur, but no
My internet glitched on me again.
option is off the table, as the president said.
But the EU president said today this is the most dangerous moment in European security in a generation. So if not today, when? What?
Look, as I say, we mounted a
No
very
thanks to- oh,
significant
wait,
response
totally
today. We
thanks
can
to you.
escalate that response further. There are a number of actions we can take using financial sanctions, export controls, fortifying our eastern flank, helping Ukraine
Eastern
defend
flank.
itself.
That's war talk. We haven't even declared war, and they're calling it a flank.
Helping each other deal with the costs and consequences of Russia's invasion, and most importantly, having a
And
shared
their buildup in the
confidence
Balkans now, even more. But hey,
allies and our way
Russia's
of
the
life,
aggressor.
our economic model, our political model. If Russia
Very
wants to
evil.
sequester itself from Western
Look at them, they're
technology, the
big and they fight bears.
Wait. What is he saying?
He says the Westerns.
our
What?
political model. If
Question?
Russia wants to sequester itself from Western technology, the Western economy, and from Western financial markets, that is a bad strategic choice for Russia. But we're going to step up in solidarity to advance our values and principles.
Your values and principles. Yes, because that's what we do, ladies and gentlemen. We go off and nuke countries for values and principles. With tactical nukes, of course. Only tactical.
And you pay for that.
Yes.
Only tactical.
Only tactical nukes, ladies and
They're
gentlemen.
very secret nukes, very very quiet and small.
Tactical.
Nuclear explosives.
Just a bunch of them. But hey, they're small.
You mentioned that sanctions are meant to deter and prevent.
It's not like that's
but
going to
the
affect
fact of the
anybody.
matter is the
you know.
sanctions you're announcing today and announced last night did not deter or prevent Russia's actions yesterday and over the weekend. What gives you any confidence that the remaining sanctions that haven't been imposed yet can deter or prevent a further Russian invasion and aggression in Ukraine?
Well, look, it's day one, and President Putin has choices to make. We have choices to make. Our job is to manage risks.
Oh,
and
listen to
impose
this arrogant
consequences.
bastard. It's like, well, listen, I mean, he's got choices to make, and so do we. I mean, he could just sit here, just choose to, not do what we want, like, and then he just gets cut off from everything that we want him to be, but hey, he's got choices to make, and so do we, God, this arrogant, like, I just can't even.
For a further escalation of this conflict by President Putin.
Smug,
we can do that through financial sanctions.
arrogant,
We can do that through export controls.
haughty.
We can do that through fortifying NATO's eastern flank. We can do that through providing defensive assistance to Ukraine. We can do that by being prepared for any energy market impact that occurs from Russia's choices.
Oh,
We can do that by being prepared for any energy market impact that
energy market impact that this. What?
occurs
Oh,
from
okay.
Russia's choices.
That's great.
Those are the choice at our disposal.
Ready for gas prices to go up a little bit?
But it's for our principles and our values. We all must share, as Jen Psaki said. I don't know if she said it in the same speech or whatever.
Gas prices go up, everything else goes up a little bit, right?
We all must share for the betterment of the global community. Right?
Oh no. Don't say that, it makes my skin crawl.
Oh.
And let me just take a step back and talk
Oh.
about
No.
that by being prepared for any energy market impact that occurs from Russia's choices. Those are the choices that are within our disposal. And let me just take a step back and talk about sanctions. We have principles
Oh, not
that matter
pain?
in terms of how we design a sanctions package.
Pain.
They need to be powerful enough to demonstrate our resolve
Pain
and
needs
the
to be
capacity
powerful.
to impose overwhelming costs. They should be calibrated such that we can maximize coordination with our allies.
Oh,
and
you must
partners.
share in the cost. That's
They
what she
should
said.
maintain flexibility so we can escalate or de-escalate depending on what Putin does. They should be responsible so that we avoid unwanted spillovers to the U.S. and global
Yes,
economy.
you should be proud to
And
share
they
in
need
the
to be
cost of prices
sustainable.
going up.
They work over time, not on day one.
We just went to the last one. Okay.
Can you tell us why Putin himself was not sanctioned?
That's what some people say.
I know you tried to explain it because what you are doing is by...
You got a question last week, so we're just trying to diversify it a little bit.
I just want him to clarify.
Simon, can you let Weijia ask a question? Thank you. Go ahead, Weijia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know
Oh,
that
we're
you
just trying to
talked about all the actions that you're
diversify.
taking to counter any oil shortages that might drive up gas prices. But today, the president himself was very blunt about how they could impact Americans. So can you just give us a sense of when Americans might feel a difference when they fill up their gas tanks? And then secondly, to follow up on what
You
Zeke
must
was just
share
asking, both
in
you
the
and the
cost
president said
of
today that
war.
these sanctions will be in
It
response.
is the only
will be
way
if
to
Putin
ensure
escalates, you will escalate. So
our
that sounds
victory.
like they are going to be in response now and not meant to deter. So do you still view them as being a deterrence, or are they just a punishment at this point?
Yeah, so the first question on energy markets and the impact of our actions and when they'll take effect in markets. Look, again, I don't want to go into specifics, but there are actions that energy consumers can take with their strategic reserves. There are actions that energy producers can take in terms of their spare capacity. There are actions that energy producers can undertake to increase their production of energy in the current circumstance. And I'm not going to give you a timeline, but the collective power of those actions and all the other tools and authorities that are at our disposal, plus diplomatic maneuvers that are at our disposal, collectively, we think will be effective in bringing down the price of gas and the price of oil.
He will come back, I promise, and I promise he would not be too late for his meeting. So thank you so much for joining us. Okay, we'll make it today.
Oh, this is the best way to hear Saki talk.
Yeah, yeah. I'm getting everything she'd even say to me. Of note.
That's great.
Get into details about the internal process. More to tell soon. Go ahead, Peter.
Thank you, Jen. The president said in the spring that Pentagon generals had briefed him that the greatest threat facing America is global warming. Is that still the assessment now that we are facing down a potential cyber war with Russia?
Well, let me first say there is no, we are always prepared for any threat that any outside entity or country poses to the United States as it relates to cyber.
What's
or
worse,
else.
climate
There is
change
no
or the
current pending
Russians?
threat on, as it relates to cyber. In terms of the threats you're
Break the
touching
liberals'
on, that was a
mind
briefing
in two.
from the military, so I'd point you to them.
And so, as far as anybody watching who's seen the coverage,
Really?
it's very, at times,
I'll
distressing
point you to the
images
military.
of
You can
the
ask now.
Russian military movements. The number one threat facing the country right now remains global
Biden
warming.
is the commander-in-chief.
Peter,
You're a
I think it's
spokesperson.
important, as we're all educating the public here, to convey and reiterate the president has no intention of sending U.S. troops into Ukraine to fight.
No,
in
we
Ukraine.
just sent NATO
What we are
troops
doing
to
is we are
the
abiding
Baltics
by
and
our
pointed
obligations
guns at
to
Russia.
Our NATO
What the
allies
hell?
and partners to ensure that they have the support and the resources that they need, and that is our right and our obligation as the United States.
So, as the United States, we're not going to actually put our own troops in Ukraine or anywhere else in harm. We're just going to send troops to other countries to be run by the other country that would be NATO ally to put them on the. Wait a minute. What? Idiot.
Okay, and why do you guys think that sanctions are going to stop Putin if his goal ultimately is to redraw the map so it looks like it did 70 or 80 years ago? What sanction is going to stop him from doing that?
Well, I think just to kind of reiterate maybe something you touched on there, for anyone who watched his speech last night, what he made clear in that speech is that he doesn't even necessarily or doesn't recognize the independence of Ukraine as a country. And that certainly gives us an indication of where his intentions are at this point in time. Sanctions can be a powerful tool. They have been in a lot of moments
Don't you
throughout
mean
history,
pain?
and what we view them as or how we're viewing them as we're starting high. As
Don't get all
Philippe just conveyed,
professionalized now.
here, in terms of the significance and the severity of the sanctions that were announced today. Yes, our intention is to have a deterrent effect, and there are, what they have done to date is completely unacceptable. There's certainly far worse that could happen. What we want to do is prevent a large-scale invasion, death and destruction across Ukraine, devastation to the Ukrainian people, and that what happens with sanctions,
Oh, because the
they
Eastern
work over
Ukrainians
time.
are living
They're
in
not an end.
paradise.
They're not intended to max out at the beginning. They're long-lasting and sustainable, and they're intended to squeeze. But if you look at what is happening now,
Underneath
what President
the
Putin
Ukrainian
stated
government's
as
shelling.
his
That's,
intention is he wants to divide NATO.
heaven
The
on earth,
opposite
right?
of that has happened, Peter. He also wanted to a geopolitical project, Nord Stream 2, to go forward. That has not happened. He wants to make sure there is a vibrant economy for the Russian people. They're not on that track. So his intentions and his objectives are not playing out.
So I guess to follow up on that, the president said before he got here that Putin knows if I am president of the United States, his days of tyranny and trying to intimidate the United States and those in Eastern Europe are over. It's 2.5 years later. He is intimidating the United States and those in Eastern Europe. What happened?
I'd hardly put it that way. I would look at it actually from the prism of the United States and President
No,
Biden
you're
has rallied the
intimidating
world.
Russia. You're pointing guns at Russia. You know.
Rallied Europe to stand up against the efforts and the actions of President Putin. And we've laid out very clearly exactly.
$4 gas, $5 gas, however how you guys think it's going to go, something like that is not intimidating.
You asked me if we were intimidated by President Putin, and I think the evidence of that doesn't exist. Go ahead, Kristen.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, just like her Y chromosome, it doesn't exist. What?
Like I said, everybody had something to say about what's going on. When I say everybody, almost everybody.
Mostly me. Let's just be honest.
I mean,
Sorry.
there were some interesting trends for today off of Twitter.
Koolfrogg,
The
we're
one
at 2 hours and
there's-
40 minutes here.
Let's see, I gotta think here. Let me make sure.
We're at 3 hours and 40 minutes.
No, 2 hours, 40 minutes.
2 hours, 40 minutes. We'll be done here soon. From the Trump trending to blackface Hitler trending. I mean, seriously, I'm like, there's like so many weird trends for today. Share this one. This guy.
This gay? Yeah.
Canada and our allies will defend democracy. We are taking these actions today to stand against authoritarianism. The people.
Oh yeah, you see that bitch over there to the side, nod her head up and down. She is literally Klaus Schwab's financial. She's like the head. She sits on the board of the World Economic Forum. Like she sits there. Like that's her job, and she works in the Canadian government.
This one here.
That bitch.
Okay. Good
People of Ukraine, like all people, must be free to determine their own
And look at her, she's
future.
like, yep.
We will continue working with our international partners to safeguard
Could you
Ukraine's
shake your head a little
territorial
more?
integrity and
Maybe you'll give
prevent
yourself a concussion
further
and save us
Russian
all a lot of
aggression.
pain. Sorry, I was talking over.
No, he's only 27 seconds long, so something like
to safeguard Ukraine's territorial integrity and prevent further Russian aggression.
See, like, here's Canada. What the hell does Canada have to do with it? Oh, because Canada has to, because we all have to. Yes, we all have to go over there, of course. Yes, all of NATO, all of us lovely people that follow the orders of like World Economic Forum people and globalist hackies and all. Like we all just have to do this, As though Canada doesn't have enough goddamn problems.
you have to remember that of this 2 hours and 40 minutes that we've been going, about, to me it seems anyway, about a half hour of that's been not actually But, or it's you guys have been. I haven't been. So, like I said, this will be done soon. We're almost done here. Politicus USA. They talk a little bit of crap or whatever. It's kind of interesting, kind of funny. This is from Jason Easley. It says House Republicans sell themselves out to Putin as they call Biden weak. House Republicans are calling Biden weak after Russia invaded Ukraine, while they're helping Putin by refusing to support Ukraine. House Republicans tweeted this. This is what weakness in the world stage looks like. Because the asshole came up to the podium, said 7 minutes worth of whatever, 9 minutes and 30 seconds worth of whatever he needed to say, answered 0 questions, turned around and walked away.
Shuffled away, you mean?
Well, hard.
Truffle
You
shuffle
seriously
away.
just turned
Shuffle,
around,
shuffle,
boom.
shuffle, shuffle.
Mm-hmm. Shotgun. Beeline.
You know, all you need to do is just fire a shotgun in the air and scare them away. You know, that's all you need to do. You don't need anything to for self-defense. You know, you just take your gun outside and just fire the shotgun away in the air, straight up,
And then get brought to jail. Don't do that. Absolutely.
So I really don't understand
Biden's
this
been a
next
dumbass.
paragraph and why it actually got added in here. Again, this is from a certain particular writer. So it says House Republicans are following Tucker Carlson, refusing to support Ukraine. Republicans running in a high-profile primary races aren't racing to defend Ukraine against the possible Russian invasion. They're settling on a different line of attack. Blame Biden, not Putin. They're on the base. They're avoiding, in some cases, rejecting, and tough on Russia rhetoric. They once defined the Republican Party. GOP operatives working in 2022 primary races tell Axios that they worry they'll alienate the base if they push to commit American resources to Ukraine or deploy U.S. troops to Eastern Europe. I don't know if I really believe that. I don't know if I really believe that if Republicans are running in a high-profile primary races, aren't racing to defend Ukraine against possible Russian invasions. I mean, you'd almost think that people are concerned. People are paying attention to this stuff no matter what. For you to stand back would be just as bad as actually putting yourself out there. You know, so I mean, you kind of have to play the room. You gotta understand.
Well, and you also have to think, like, what is his definition of a high profile Republican? Does he mean a Liz Cheney or does he mean a MGT or MTG, Margie Taylor Greene?
Right.
If he's talking about Cheney, well, that bitch wants to nuke the place. If you're talking about Crenshaw, yeah, he wants to he wants to salt the earth over there with nuclear radiation. But the others, you know, might have a different line of thought, but anyway.
Already salting the earth with his presence.
By design, House Republicans are not blaming the autocrat who is trying to destroy neighboring democracy. Instead, they plan to not anger their pro-Putin base by blaming President Biden.
Pro-Putin base.
Yeah, right. If this scheme sounds like House Republicans are selling themselves out to Russia, that's because that's exactly what they're doing.
Yes, because we don't want to have war with Russia, so we love Russia then. I mean, that's the dichotomy. If you don't want to kill 10,000 Ruskies in a day, then you must be a Russophile. You must worship Putin every day. You have like a golden statue with a shrine to Putin in your house. Like, you must be a psychopathic freak autocrat lover if you don't want to kill a bunch of Ruskies. I mean, that's what they're telling you. That's insane.
It is insane. So then it continues. The Republican Party has become the Putin Party, and many candidates that are running for the Republican primary are risking alienating the party that used to take credit for winning Cold War by standing up to Putin.
Because there is no Cold War anymore. There's a Cold War, you might say, with China in that kind of way, but not with Russia. But of course, they want to create real war. Anyways.
So then he goes on to quote Trump, and he says the Republican Party is now the party of Putin. Trump called Putin a genius for invading Ukraine. The House Republican cowards are attacking the President of the United States,
Cowards.
including the world, in the fight to save democracy. Right, exactly. Just like you said, cowards. House
People are
Republicans are
intellectual
cowards.
These people are
Some of
intellectual
them.
cowards.
Yeah,
They just sit there and like, you must love Putin. You don't want to radiate the entire freaking Eastern European continent from Moscow to the Ural Mountains. Like, God, what's wrong with you? Like that's intellectual cowardice. That's intellectual thuggery.
So that was the end of that article. It was just a short and sweet little article, right? This guy, I told you,
Lefty.
Jason Easley. Look, he puts it at the very bottom of his page. Oh, he's got his own contacts. Mr. Easley is the managing editor. He's also the White House press pool and congressional correspondent for Politicus USA. Jason has a bachelor's degree in political science. His
That's
graduate
your problem.
focused on public policy with a specialization in social reform movements. Go figure, Jason. Good job. That was a horrible shit article that just, everybody has something to say about something to do with this. And because half of Congress doesn't want anything to do with Ukraine, they said just keep out of it. Just, we don't want anything to do with it. We don't have anything to do with it. Let Russia do what they want to do. Why are we so invested in Ukraine? What do we have in Ukraine that we need to get and protect this territory from Russia?
Globalist influence and expansion.
Personal dealings with the Ukraine.
Yep.
Personal. Has nothing to do with the rest of the world. But let's create World War III out of this because, any other way would just be wrong.
Yeah, because any other way. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Let's see if I think I went through. I did that one. Okay.
We're at 2 hours 50 minutes now.
Yeah, we're okay. You guys okay? Both of you?
I mean, it's getting on.
Okay, we'll get there. This guy, this is what he says.
Oh
today.
no, that little gremlin smile. Oh God. Like oh God.
Trying to make up your mind, huh?
He's like, I just got done my daily dose of adrenochrome. It was
Well,
good.
good
I mean,
afternoon.
allegedly.
Yesterday, Vladimir Putin recognized 2 regions of Ukraine as independent states. And he bizarrely asserted that these regions are no longer part of Ukraine and their sovereign territory. To put it simply, Russia just announced that it is carving out a big chunk of Ukraine. Last night, Putin authorized Russian forces to deploy into these regions. Today, he asserted that these regions are actually extend deeper than the 2.
Oh, we already watched this
areas
part
he
though,
recognized.
Koolfrogg, like at the beginning when you first came in.
Okay, that's so I was like, did we seen some of this from?
Yeah, we saw like what, like 5 minutes or 6 minutes of it or whatever.
Yeah, from
all the big stuff. So yeah, we already covered that. So there you
yeah,
go.
we've seen that from that one. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can. I had one thing left or whatever from Fox News. Not really necessary. Can kind of rip that out of there.
If you want to cover it still, we can probably hit
No,
it.
there's
If shirts
really
are
wasn't
okay.
that much. And
Okay.
really, what can happen or whatever is I can do a side show or whatever to go along with this or whatever.
Big girl.
Right. So then basically
Bigger.
there's a Secretary Blinken comes out and holds a little meeting with
Oh, the weasel.
with the foreign minister
The little weasel.
Dmytro Kuleba. You know, it's an interesting little 34
Did he say
minute little
Cuba?
back and forth.
He said Aruba.
Dmytro Kuleba, the Ukrainian foreign minister. So I mean, it was an interesting little conversation between the two. It lasted about 35 minutes. It wasn't so bad. I don't, being that it's as long as it is, we won't add it to this episode. Maybe I'll try doing something on that, on the other side of it, on the pickerel side of it. Try doing a small
The
little
pickerel side.
Well, I've neglected my own personal, just doing stuff by myself, and I've been doing everything with just this show because I wanted to make sure that I kept something going, and I chose this one because it kept all of us active as opposed to just me. But maybe I'll try taking those couple articles and I'll try making something out of them.
I just like how you call it like the pickerel side, like
Big girl.
pickerel.
Yeah.
Oh, pickerel.
It's not that it's another channel because it's still found at the same place. You can't you go search Koolfrogg Koolfrogg. You're gonna come across both articles that are just done by just me, and you're gonna find nightly shows that are done
Yeah,
by
pickerel's like 5-minute video, 10-minute video, or whatever, somewhere around in there, I guess.
18 to 30.
Oh well, the other one's before you.
Yeah, so maybe I
Average.
could try keeping this one, kind of short and sweet. If I get the chance to even make
The
it.
sweeter, the better. No.
If I even get the chance to even make it, that's the question. That's the hard one. So, that being said, let's do some promotions, demotions here real quick.
Oh wow, flipped around.
Yeah,
Demoted.
Each time that the internet restarted on me or whatever, it kicked me, to the end of the thing or whatever. Like I was the last one down to the room, which it's fine, really. I really don't know what's going on today. Seriously, my internet. I don't know why. I'm running off of my freaking Wi-Fi on it as opposed to running off of the Ethernet cable. So I mean, I'm like, yeah, something really crashed and actually knocked the Ethernet port out. So now I have to go and mess around and see if I can't liven that back up. Get that working.
Well, while your all's Ethernet cables might still be attached or your Wi-Fi is still attached, you should totally go and visit americashirtsarefirst.com. That's americashirtsarefirst.com, the most base t-shirts on the planet. And you can get 15% off any of those lovely shirts in that store by using the discount code Koolfrogg. Everywhere you go, people will see the truth from your shirt. Spread the truth, spread what's good, the truth, and have fun doing it.
Real conversation starters, people.
Oh yeah, totally. I have had several. I won't tell you how successful some were, but
Jimmy.
That's a different thing.
Yeah, you can follow me here on YouTube at Jimmy YouTube. I've got a little bit of stuff about some. I'm usually bitching on here about how they've changed different things from stuff in the past in media, like video games and stuff, or new movies like that shitty Buzz Lightyear movie.
Oh God.
Other than that, I'm on.
Take
I'm over
Zerg's
on.
gun and blast my head off at this point. No, I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
please. Shoot me with the Zergotronic ray. Anyway, you can also find me over at Atlas Pass on TikTok, Odyssey, and Rumble. I basically upload all the same videos on all those platforms, but I would rather have a lot more on Rumble and Odyssey.
I do need to update your links a little bit. I believe I only have a couple links for you down below. I have your YouTube and I have your TikTok. I don't have your other addresses for the other two channels tied. We can get those, and we can get those tied to the descriptions, and that way they'll be updated for.
Oh, I have a Rumble channel as well where I post some things at times.
Yep, you're gonna have to actually give me a link for that one too, so that way we can actually get that.
Yeah, that one is America Shirts. You just search it in America Shirts, and I did a.
The way you see it spelt on his little orange thing there, America Shirts, all one word, capital letter S in the middle there. You'll find him.
Yep, just search it.
Mhm.
And I have a video about Russia where you can, you can listen to it, you can, watch it if you want. And I try to explain. Well, I do explain everything that's been going on over there. So check that out.
And of course, I'm Koolfrogg. Linktree's down below. There's all kinds of different places you can actually, go to find me. You can find me on YouTube and the Rumble and the Odyssey. Odyssey, I haven't seriously been updating lately. I know I've been slacking. I need like 300 subscribers so that it auto updates, as opposed to me having to actually physically go over each day and re-upload a new video. I know you wouldn't think that it takes that long, but it takes longer than you think. The time input into making sure everything's actually correctly there really takes a long time, and it seems to be that I always have something better or more important to do than trying to repost something to Odyssey. There is some stuff there though, so make sure you check it out. All that being said, say goodbye, everybody.
Bye, friends.
Goodbye. Later.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Later.
Whoa.